Guys, I'm still on mute. But yes, guys, yes, people, we are back. The international break is finally over. Club football is back. The streams are back. We're back with the panel as well. And what an international break. It's been an amazing last 2 weeks. So big up all the panel. Big up everyone that's locked in. As always, smash the like and subscribe button on your way into the stream. And just like it says down below, if you guys want to check out the beautiful lawnmower 4.0.
Speak up, your mic's kind of like.
Yeah.
Oh, my mic's not working. For fuck's sake.
No,
now
much
it is.
serious.
Yeah,
Is it?
now it is.
Can you hear me? Yes. Can you get?
Yeah,
Now we can.
Okay, good. That's a great fucking start, isn't it? But yeah, big up everyone that's locked in. Smash the like and subscribe button. I'm not going to speak too much because my mic's decided to completely bottle this first stream back. But yeah, big up everyone that's locked in. We did have to take a little vacation, but happy to take it anywhere, and it's been much needed as well. Trust me, man's been streaming for the last 6 months back to back. We needed a break, but we're back here. We've got a lot of tough fixtures coming up. Champions League football's coming back to the bridge next week. But the first game in hand, obviously, Aston Villa at home. We're going to delve into that in this video. We're also going to talk through most of the rumours and news that has come through in the last week or so. We're going to talk about Antonio Rudiger and his contract negotiations. We're going to talk about possible Timo Werner to Bayern links, which literally just popped around today. I'm not sure how reliable they are, but we'll get into it. We're also going to talk about Christian Pulisic, who has sadly suffered another injury on international duty. And to round things off, we're going to talk about how the campaign against Chelsea running yet again. Chelsea fined 25k because we got involved in beef, even though it wasn't really us that started it. But like Jose Mourinho always said, there's been a campaign against Chelsea, and we've seen it for years. But big up everyone that's locked in. Big up the panel as well. Fat, I'm going to start with you. How's your week been, my guy?
Yeah, it's been good. Seeing my client firing bullseye during international break. It looks like Hansi Flick give a little bit of golden gem to Timo Werner. He scored goals, 3 goals in the international break. And yeah, people keep banging on about him with the missing last night. He missed a sitter last night. The video went viral, but he redeemed himself. That's the most important thing. And case is dismissed. I understand the rumors already came out that Bayern Munich's chasing Timo Werner via sport witness. It's just a lot of bullshit. And there's been a lot of rumors that have been heard. Kessie going to Chelsea. Rudiger contract situation haven't been sorted. Chelsea going to keep chasing Jules Koundé after the disappointment that Jules Koundé missed out on the transfer window. So there's lots of rumors that we've been missing out on the international break.
Well, we likely to be moving for Koundé in January. Because I know there's still the release clause, but are we going to cash it in now, or are we going to wait till the end of the season? Because I still think this is more of a summer transfer that we'd expect to happen. I don't see it happening right now.
January.
Probably January.
I would wait for the summer though. Like he go a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
We don't desperately need them now.
Flexing their muscles like that. You love to see it, man. This is the ambition that we want to see. Jesters, it's been a while, man. How's everything been with you, bro?
Yeah, a short week of work because I had a Monday holiday. It's great. Now we can get rid of the U.S. men's national team manager. I would be very, very happy. Yeah, it's kind of like what Josh just did.
You're going to need to give me hella context for that because I don't know what's going on with your management team.
He's worse than Southgate. He's the Mikel Arteta of international coaching.
Possible.
No, he's horrible. At least you have a better squad that can bail him out.
But then that doesn't make him any better, though, does it?
Well, he looks better. Our guy plays a back. Yeah, our guy plays a back 4 when he should have played a back 5, and a back 5 when he should have played a back 4.
All right, Jamal, big up yourself, my guy.
Good Lord.
Appreciated the donation. Big up yourself. Much love. Says Mighty Lewis, love you to bits, man. I'm so glad you had a much-deserved holiday, even revealing your girlfriend was on Instagram like Matisse did a few days before you took inspiration. I bigged you on the Arsenal versus Chelsea vlog you did the other day, and you replied, yeah, Jamal, I remember you as well. You wrote like a big paragraph about me as well. Yo, massively appreciated, man. Big up yourself, bro. If you want to hop on as well, like literally DM me, Instagram, Twitter. I'll throw you the link and you can come on and get involved as well. Big up Dinishan as well, saying, This season is crucial for Werner. I hope he scores. I feel like you're talking about the Aston Villa game. And yeah, you know what? My thing with Timo Werner, I've said it millions of times. I'll just say it again. Just want him to be clinical. Other than that, I'm fine. Like, I know what Timo Werner brings to the team. I know what he lacks in the team as well. If he's clinical, nobody is complaining. But that's it. SVO, I'll send you the link as well. Big up yourself. Josh, what are you telling me, bro? You good?
Yeah, man, doing well. Just same as Jester. Just enjoyed a nice 4-day work week. The holiday on Monday. Some disappointing international games over the last few days, but we moved. We got another 11 games left to play. So, looking forward to Villa Saturday. I think it's going to be an interesting team that plays Villa, actually, with all of the guys that we've had playing over the international break. I think we're going to try to see some fresh legs on the pitch, so maybe get a chance for some guys to make a name for themselves and try to get themselves in the rotation. So looking forward to seeing what old Tommy T has planned for Villa.
Yeah, I can't lie. I'm just excited for some club football back. It's jarring that we had 3 games and then we went into an international game. I know usually it's like 4 and that doesn't really make that much difference, but it's still like, come on, we literally just started the season. We've had mouth-watering games against the likes of Crystal Palace and Liverpool and them other dead lot up in North London as well. And then we go straight into an international break.
October 7th.
At least we're back here.
October 7th is the next one.
Yeah,
October
and then one in
7th is the next
November.
international break.
Yeah.
Nice.
One in November.
Come on, Lewis. You know the drill. 2 more.
Yep. Calls for another vacation. Love to see it. Big up,
Yeah,
boy.
we
What
know
are you
what
saying,
we-
my guy?
On the verge of you saying that, I don't know if everyone, if you can, hold your glass up to him. You much deserve that holiday, and you deserve happiness. And I'm glad you found it. I think we all say you deserve it more than anyone we know. You are a hard worker, and you're a kind guy, and you deserve your happiness. So I'm glad you found it. I know Steph's watching. You're both of you. All the best, and I mean
Wayne,
that.
you're a sweet one, man. Much
I know I'm
appreciated.
stop,
Man.
but
But it's a we
I'm
thing.
bored.
We all deserve happiness. Me,
That's
Stephanie as well, and all of you
Yeah.
guys, well, all you man in the comment section as well. Everyone's getting happiness.
Except for
Except for
Cho's
Papa.
It's
fans.
not just about me.
except for Father. Father doesn't
Did you
deserve
say
happiness.
except for
Father-
Cho stands?
Yeah.
I'm single, bro. What are you talking about? I'm single.
Oh,
They're not called Cho
for
stands.
now,
They're
man.
called
For
Cho,
now.
called Cho-hos.
Your
Called
sweet
Cho-hos,
one's
they're not
coming,
Cho
man.
stands.
Don't you worry.
They're Cho-hos.
Big up Jamal as well, saying your girlfriend's beautiful, mate. Well, happy for you both. I'm good, G, for now. I'm super busy. Gotta go in 10 minutes, out and about. My pleasure picking you up. You deserve it, bro. There's so much good vibes and energy in this stream, man.
Oh, it'll turn. Just wait.
Ridiculous. Wait, what was that?
It'll turn. Just wait.
Oh, yeah. I bet it will. I fucking bet it will. One of us is gonna say something mad. Chris, what are you
That's what
saying,
I'm trying
bro?
to get
You
away
good?
out.
Nah, Chris can't hear us. Andrew, what are you telling me, bro? You good?
Yeah,
wait,
I'm all
wait, did you say
good,
my
man.
name? Sorry.
You're the only Chris here, man.
Come on, Chris.
Go
Go
Chris.
for it.
Go.
Go on, Chris. You go first.
Wait. Oh, no,
Chris,
I
can you
thought
hear
someone said
us?
something my name. Sorry, like. Yeah, can you
we
hear me?
did. Yeah, we
Okay,
did.
no,
we can
something
hear.
cut out. I think I heard Chris can't hear us. I thought, wait, hang on. I think something cut out. My bad. I think
Yeah.
he's on back on the weekend. Yeah. No, yeah, it is all right. You know, my country. You know, Wales came at clutch. You know, 3-2 Gareth Bale hat trick. F1 came back as well. You know, that was good as well. The comeback since it's international week. So yeah, it's all right. I move it quickly.
Good to hear it, man. Andrew as well. What are you telling me, bro?
Yeah, man. Hate the international break. Second week's gone quicker than the first. I think we've all done a bit less streaming, which has probably helped us. A bit of break away from streaming. Maybe not you, Jester, but
Yeah, I know.
you know, some of us haven't streamed a lot during, and I think that's healthy for us. But yeah, I'm all geared up, man. Bring back the Premier League for 3 weeks and then international break again. Yay! But all good, man.
I
All
will
good,
say at the
all
very
good.
least, Sadiq's streams have been keeping me entertained. That's been a good watch at the very least. And
Yes.
also, guys, check out Worldwide Health if you guys haven't done it already as well. Big up him as well. Matt, what are you telling me, bro? You good?
Yeah, man. As everyone's had here, except for Jester, obviously, big break. I'm happy to be back. Lewis, man. Oh, again, great holiday. Glad you're back, and let's get into this Aston Villa game.
Yeah, let's get into first thing we'll talk about. I don't think we need to go too deep into it, but we'll start with it anyway because Christian Pulisic has gone down to yet another injury in international duty.
Wallahi.
We were speaking about it backstage as well, and Christian Pulisic always gets this a tag of being injury prone. But this one, I don't even really think it's justified because I haven't seen the match, I haven't seen the highlights or anything like that. I've just checked the footage and what people have been saying about the injury, and apparently Pulisic was just getting hacked down by the opposition players all game, and the referees weren't even properly protecting him like that. So if that's the situation, we're not really gonna slander him and say, oh, it's yet another injury for Christian Pulisic. If a guy's getting hacked down for 90 minutes, he's getting hacked down for 90 minutes. And you run the risk of getting an injury, especially if the referees aren't protecting you. And this game is just a perfect example of it. It's jarring because I think, would Christian Pulisic have even played the game against Villa coming from a Wednesday to a Saturday kickoff? I'm not really too sure, but potentially the Zenit game at the very least. And it's a bit jarring that we aren't going to be able to see him get into the squad because we want to see Christian Pulisic have a solid run of games. That's the one thing that he needs in order to recapture his form. Well, usually when he starts an injury, when he starts the season, he needs a few games to get into the speed of things. And now it's just the case he's gone back into step one. He has to recover from another injury, get back into the team, regain his spot again, then regain confidence and form in himself, and maybe we'll be able to see the old Christian Pulisic back. But it's a shitty setback for him, and it's part of the reason why I don't fuck with international breaks. Every time I see an international break, I don't really care about who wins or who loses. I'm just thinking what Chelsea players are playing and can we try and protect them and see if they can survive the 2 weeks, because we always lose a player. So it's just yet another situation for Christian Pulisic. It's jarring, but it is what it is. I wouldn't sit there and call him injury prone or anything like that.
Can I just say, do we have a ruling that we don't need to send players to international break?
No.
No, that is the opposite.
Try to influence it, but I don't think that's even worked.
No, the rule is it was made between the European Clubs Association or whatever that association is that we pulled out when we went to the Super League, that you have to send your players if called up. That's why the whole Brazilian thing is going on. So the rule is actually opposite of that. You have to, if called up, you have to release those players. So
even with the player's discretion.
No, the players can decline going. The players can decline going, but if asked, the club can't stand in their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Jester spoke about it yesterday. If a player declines to go to his national team, the coach is more than likely to say, well, that's about it for your national career as long as I'm here. So as much as, we'd like to see some of these guys say, nah, I'm good, especially a Thiago Silva that really isn't going to be a huge part in that Brazilian team, in my opinion. It's that it's probably the end of their international career for a little bit if they decline a call-up.
Yeah, so it's not one. It's one of those things that the rule was put in place because probably from what I understand from because of English teams back in the day wouldn't release players to the English national team or the Scottish national team. So they got together and said, hey, if your national team calls you up, the team must release them. So I think what they'll end up doing is come to an agreement that in the next window, doesn't matter what country they're going to, they'll be released, and the country that they came from, in this case England, will have to make an exception for athletes.
I get that, but I also don't know why we haven't just got to that conclusion already. I get people being a lot more wary because of the virus, but we know how protected players are. You look at the Brazil-Argentina thing, for an instance. I get 4 players didn't take their test, and I know legally they're meant to take their test going into the country, but come on, these guys are professional fucking athletes. They probably get tested every other week. I think it's very unlikely that they probably catch the virus anyway, unless they're doing a factory and pulling people in out of lockdown. Like I think, did Weston McKennie do something similar like that for you guys?
Yeah, he did.
In that sort of
Something.
situation, I understand.
That's why he was sent away.
But that's a rarity. Like that's like the anomaly in the situation. Usually, they're just there in their hotels. They're usually excluded. Maybe if it's a case where you have players in that, not necessarily in lockdown, but in their own bubble, when they go into other countries for international duty, you don't necessarily need them to take tests. Like athletes should be able to get some sort of exemption in this situation.
But the Brazil one is they needed to. I believe I read. Someone can tell me different. They needed to isolate before they went to Brazil, I think, and then isolate after they come back from Brazil. Also, Brazil's in a funny situation because Richarlison, Everton didn't let him go to this Brazil one, but they're not banning him. I read because he played for them in the Olympics. So I'm all for. I think the club should just let the players play and do it all, let it all go, because they can just draw on that and say, why aren't you banning him then? The players, Brazil and Argentina didn't even need to be played in Brazil. It can be played in Europe. There's so many. It can be played in Europe.
They really can't.
Or FIFA, instead of thinking about their big dirty pockets of money, should actually consider health and safety, and go, we can't expect these guys to quarantine before and afterwards because it's stupid, and move the game to another date or another country.
Again, the hypocrisy is rife on both sides here. So
players are stupid as well.
You say Brazil, they were worried about some players coming in because they were in England. But if you saw the rallies happening in that country where there's thousands of people out in the street, shoulder to shoulder, and you're worried about four players coming in that are isolated in a hotel, it makes not a whole lot of sense. But it's when you get into a political pissing match, the people lose every time, and that's what it is. The people are the ones who lose, because the Argentina-Brazil game is always looked forward to by both countries. It's like, I don't know, what's the big rivalry in Europe that everybody wants to see?
In Europe, I'd probably say
England, Germany.
Nah.
That's
only England care about that. Even Germany don't care that much about us. I think. What is the biggest European derby? I actually don't know.
Germany, Italy.
Germany, Italy.
Yeah, there's.
Well, I think it's more
blood.
Germany, Italy, maybe
obvious
Germany,
reasons.
Netherlands.
I was thinking about Netherlands,
France, Germany, France.
Well, because France will just surrender to Germany. We already.
What about Ireland,
Spain,
Scotland?
really.
Well, that's
Wait, what?
Ireland,
Scotland,
Scotland, England,
Yeah, it's a Celtic.
or Ireland, England, something like
Or just
that.
everyone in the UK against England because they all hate us.
So yeah, I mean, it's on that level. I mean, it's actually it's huge, and so again, the people lose because everybody has to make their points in politics. Whatever it is, what it is.
In Serbia v Albania, to be fair, that one's heated.
I'm guessing, but again, it's
It's one of those things. It's one of those things too, where it's like, if they were gonna continue to have international football during this time, you'd think there would have been some rules created for those guys who play club soccer in different countries. Like there should have been a little bit of give and take there. If you're going to demand that they play international games during this time, it's like
it's an easy thing to do. It's an easy thing to do, Josh. During these pandemic times, you can shorten all the seasons and have all the international games in May. Yeah, in May to June, have it all in that month. You shorten the season, players get more rest because it's a World Cup the next season, and then get over it.
It's all about money.
That's a great idea. Because we get rid of the international break for one, and there's no tournaments there's no tournaments in the summer this year, if I'm correct. Other than Confederations Cup?
No.
Oh, that should have been this year because it's
It should have been this year.
the World Cup. Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah,
what
the
they got-
Euros.
But what they're doing now is nothing's going to be on the summer, and then it's in the winter is the World Cup.
World Cup's winter anyway.
Winter next
No,
year.
there's- Yeah.
That's some.
Winter next
Oh
year.
wait, yeah.
next
it's
December or
The start
January.
of 2022 and 23 season.
Big up Go AM saying the amount of CP slandering coming, so it's going to catch the hate crime charge. To be fair, I don't think there was any. We didn't have any Pulisic slander. To be fair,
Oh yeah, you missed it.
you've never heard a bad word about him.
That was
I
a
don't think I've
lot.
seen anything in the comment section too. Yeah, positive vibes. You love to see
AKA
it.
sick.
Speaking
Where you
of
gotta go,
positive vibes, big up Kevin Fraser. It's been a while saying super champion.
champion.
We are.
Come on, G. Big up yourself, man. It's been a while. Glad to see you as well. Wait, there's Josh getting back
Sorry.
in here. There you go, bro. All right, cool. We've gone through the Christian Pulisic stuff. Let's talk about how the FA just want to fuck us in the arse at every opportunity. FA
Can I say something?
signed
Oh,
Chelsea 25k. Oh, wait, what did you want to say, Chris?
No, you know, like about the whole incident of the fight thing and all that, like Liverpool, that wasn't even that bad. We've seen worse from the Tottenham game and everything. Remember our manager gets pushed through the dugout and everything. That happened. And even the Leicester one, that was even worse than the Liverpool one. I don't know why people made a big fuss of the Liverpool one. That was
It wasn't even
Yeah.
it wasn't even a fight. It was literally like some guys
Yep.
did
They
in
started
each other's
it.
chest.
Yep.
They fucking started it. Like, Mendy booted the ball, and yeah, it hit Henderson, but he wasn't trying to hit Henderson. He walked in the way of him. He kicked the ball away.
Get out of the way.
Lewis, who wrote the report of the match to the FA?
Who do you think, bro?
Exactly. Exactly.
The human dildo.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah.
And you also got the FA behind them, and you know how much they fucking hate us.
No,
They'd happily see
no,
us
it's
get
The agenda is real.
blink.
The
Has
human
anyone
dildo.
seen the video of Mason shoving him?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah, I've seen that. Proper fucking.
My
job.
respect
Give him
for
the
Mason
armband
went up just a little bit.
You know,
So-
for the Aston Villa game where we drew, I think we drew, didn't we, at the end of the season last season? Was it Anthony Taylor as the manager? Some old, manager, referee, I mean. Yeah, like it was him, yeah. That was a dodgy game as
When
well.
we lost to Villa.
No, Drew
we
or
deserved
some-
to lose. We deserved
Oh,
to
did we
lose?
lose?
Yeah,
Well, we did.
Yeah.
deserve to lose, but
It wasn't.
also
Yeah, but-
We were
wasn't a
shit that
penalty.
game.
It wasn't a
shit.
penalty.
We wasn't that great, but like, it was so much in that game, like the handball and everything, like it was
I'd
crazy.
be happy if we weren't that great. We were shit. That was
We were shit. I completely understand that, but it wasn't a penalty. Like that
That's fine.
Jorginho
We were
carry
still
wasn't a
rubbish.
penalty.
We were
Yeah,
still
no, we were
rubbish.
horrendous. Like the only way that we got top four was because fucking Leicester bottled it in the last 10 minutes. But that's just on them. But with us, should have been a 1-1 draw. It is what it is. Like champions of
It is.
Europe and all that. Who gives a fuck anyway?
Yeah.
But same way, we're getting fucked over every single time by the FA. And I don't. If Liverpool got the same fine as us, I'd be annoyed, but I'd understand because at the very least it's level. Both of them got fined. It's the Liverpool players that started it. Like the ball hits Henderson. If it's just Henderson and Mendy, again I understand. Like it's kind of Henderson's fault. He walked in the way of him. But it is what it is. It happens in the heat of the moment. It's football. But then 4 other players gang up on Mendy as well, and that's what starts the whole argument before half time. And yet we're the ones getting fined. Like we've already said, we know there's a massive agenda against Chelsea. We don't even need to delve that deep into it. But it's just yet another fucking example of it.
But as seen by the summer transfer window, Liverpool can't really afford anything, so there's no point finding them.
Well, because they're paying off the FA.
In fact, they should have given us a little money for Lukaku going over there and clearing it out so quickly.
Yeah.
No, I've never.
You know what? You know
That
another
was
thing that was funny.
So
You know when
funny.
Henderson's trying to start at Mendy. Mendy wasn't even acknowledging him. He wasn't even looking at him. He's just trying to stand up to him, and he just looks so small to him and everything. It's just funny.
Yeah, Mendy's a giant.
Bro, the whole
He is
team's
a giant.
giants. And when Lukaku walked in, everyone
If
just
you got
backed up.
Lukaku, you've got Rudiger there. It's people you want in a street fight, right? Liverpool don't
Christensen.
have that guy because Van Dijk is not that.
Yeah, plus you can
He's
kick
not
him in
that
the
guy,
knee,
huh?
he'll go down. It's fine.
It's not that guy.
Van Dijk is not that guy.
Not much to say about that 25k stuff. It's just 25k.
Yeah, we're gonna pay it
That's
off
what,
anyway.
25K.
that's what you spend in a week.
Yeah, I say Foster spends that in super chats in a week.
That's his OnlyFans bill.
I didn't say it.
Yes.
I didn't say it.
Yes.
That was it. Not me, bro.
Move on,
Thank you
please.
for the
Alright,
setup.
guys.
Thank
My
you
guy,
for
we
the
went
setup.
26
Heads
minutes
up for
in.
that one, mate.
Can we talk about transfer now?
What, transfer of 25k from your funds to where? Where is it?
We've never talked about transfer.
If I
Wow.
speak, I'm in big trouble.
I bet you are.
If I was Roman, I would send the money in. I know you do pounds over there, but I would buy $25,000 worth of American pennies and pay the fine.
Let them
You know
count
what
it
I
up.
love about that as well? I had the idea of pennies too, but you said American pennies, so they have to go and have to exchange it as well. That's extra shithousery. I love that.
Yeah, there are pricks here who will go and pay their fines in pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they'll wheelbarrow in like
I've seen that. Yeah,
a million
It's
pennies and
gold.
be like, here you go.
I reckon you should get 25 grand worth of old £10 notes and just send it in like that. So then they
Oh,
have
the
to
ones
go to
what
the Bank
rip up.
of England. Yeah, let's go to the Bank of England, get it sorted out, fill out about 80 forms, something like that. Is this legit money? Just do it like that.
Fucking ridiculous, man. Right, okay, we've gone
Taylor's
through-
bank account.
I said check Taylor's bank account.
Have you guys
Oh,
heard about Kesties news?
Why does Taylor actually have to referee us anyway?
Hold on. Have you guys heard about Kestie news though?
Oh, yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Kessie news?
Sure.
No, I actually haven't heard
Yeah.
Kessie news. Talk to me.
Yeah, he's on a free next summer most likely because he
Yeah, I sent you a
hasn't
tweet.
signed his
from
contract.
Kestie,
So we can do a pre-signing.
I don't think Jorginho's gonna leave in the next 2 years. Probably not.
I think you're
Until
wrong.
the World's a World Cup. So whenever
I
he
think-
wins a World Cup.
No. Look, you
Yeah,
have to
obviously
you have to read between the lines. The agent said after the World Cup he wants to go back to Italy, but agents don't say that. They
That's an
say
expression.
after-
He doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean it. Definitely, it's just expression.
No,
He doesn't
it's
mean
not. Because how often do World Cups happen? Every 4 years, right?
His agent has been twerking hard for Italy for like the last season and a half, though.
I think look, if you take the agent at his word, the World Cup happens in 2022, the winter. His contract's up in the summer of 2023 if he doesn't resign. If he doesn't sign it an extension, and this goes for every single player on the team, Chelsea will look to move them out because we're not Arsenal. We don't let players go on freeze. That's not the
Except for a
Rudiger.
certain... Yeah.
Nah, he could go in January. They could try to get something for him in January. If he's
Yeah,
not
they can
gonna
try.
sign.
If they bring Koundé in and he won't sign, it's possible they can move him in January.
Yeah, but
Yep,
even
and
then, it would be at a loss, and we know what Chelsea are like.
And
They
he's
never like
still have
Well,
to agree
that's
to
sort of.
it as well. He still has to agree to it as well.
And that's why you
Yeah,
don't.
but if he knows he's not going to resign, I don't see why he would not be open to that. Especially if we sell him to the team he wants to go to, like Madrid or Paris or something.
But what if we're like
it's
in the league? Because
Andrew,
that's
I got
the
a
one
question
that hasn't
for you.
won with us.
I gotta ask
Yeah.
Andrew this question: where's Billy Gilmour going on loan next season?
Newcastle, Crucible.
I know what you're trying to do, Chester.
Gonna
I
play
know what
Brucey
you're
Ball
trying
next
to
year.
do. I know what you're trying to do, Chester.
Crucible. He's going to play Crucible. Closer to home as well. Closer to Scotland. Visits there and back. He's going there.
I don't think
Sorry,
Billy
bro.
going to go on loan. I think probably sell him. Sounds crazy.
He's going to
I'm not
Brucey
trying
Ball.
to be.
You gotta love the common sense.
Look who's pissing the conversation.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Why do you think I did it?
Anyway,
Big
Mike.
up.
Why do you think I did it? I mean,
No, I knew exactly what you were doing. I just thought, fuck's sake. But yeah, like with Rudiger, I don't see us allowing him to go in that position anyway. And with Rudiger, I don't see him leaving as well if we could potentially win the Premier League. It's the one thing he hasn't won with us yet. Well, other than the League Cup, but fuck the League
Yeah,
Cup.
but you know how Jester's not wrong here. Like, we're not going to let him go on a free, especially if he's playing at such a high level. Like, obviously, we don't want to lose him. I hope he resigns, but there's just no way. They're not going to let him go on a free. If they bring Koundé in, and I don't know if you've been watching Denmark International, but Christensen's been playing left center back pretty much all of Denmark's international games. So I don't know. I just don't see them getting nothing for him if he decides to leave on a free. And it's more than likely that he'll do that because he wants a crazy payday. And he does deserve a raise, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what Christensen's contract looks like and how much he'll be making a week, because you'd have to think Rudiger would be somewhere in that same ballpark.
No, he'll be
I
more
think
than
Rudiger
that.
wants more.
That's what I'm saying. Like if Christensen's not taking like a crazy weekly wage and Rudiger wants more, then there's no way they're gonna extend his deal.
We can't sell him in January unless he agrees to go. So,
but if he knows he's gonna leave, I don't think he would.
But he will only leave if he's not going to get a massive sign. Like remember, in January he can agree to a new club, wages, and huge signing on fees as well. So it's like he's not going to go and if he has something already lined up. If it's say Real Madrid come in, if they are offering a massive signing on fee, he'll be fine to set out the rest of the 6 months at Stamford Bridge. He'll be fine to do that.
Zuma?
He's entitled to do so as well. Huh?
Remember Zuma? He took forever to get out because he
And
didn't want
that's
to
why-
have contract and everything.
That's why if players don't sign an extension in the summertime, you got to move them out. I don't care who they are.
That's the thing, though, because I feel like wouldn't Chelsea have been aware of this situation before? That's why
but they thought
probably should have got rid of him in the summer if this was the case.
You have to think they thought they were going to be able to convince him.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I've been saying this forever with Rudiger. I could see the writing on the wall with this guy, like before the summer.
That's the thing, Josh. Like, I understand what you're saying, but if we could see it, surely the club would be able to see it as well, no?
Yeah, I mean the club. The club was always going to think that they had some sort of negotiating power because they have the money. So they might have thought, hey, there's no way he would turn down, 120 a week. But then he's like, no, I want 200 a week, and they're like, that's just not going to happen now. So I don't know. We're in a bad spot. Like I don't think either way. I think we're going to get a couple of good players in, or at least Koundé will be a great signing. I do think they need to get him in January, because if they don't get him in January, then I think it's going to be. I'm not sure that they'll be able to get him in the summer.
I think it's locked on for January.
Yeah.
Sorry, stop you talking, guys. But there's just announced the Premier League squad on Chelsea. So if you want to go on Twitter, you might be able to find it.
The Chelsea Premier League squad.
Yeah,
It's on the fifth stand up.
Just let us know if there's any surprise players in there or out of there.
I can't.
They have Ruben. They have Ruben listed as a forward on the Champions League roster, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I saw Barkley got into the Champions League squad too.
Yeah, he did. Barkley and Baker.
This guy's stat pads a Champions League as well as a Europa League. One of the biggest hustlers in the game today, second only to.
He's got the English thing, and you don't have to call up any of the under 23s to fill that quota. So you can put Ruben in there, who's homegrown. You can put Barkley in there, that's homegrown, and you still don't have to play him.
Yeah.
Why is Lukaku says homegrown though?
Because he was
So
here.
he is.
Yeah, because he's been in England since he was like was it 16 or
16.
18?
Yeah, 16.
And you need to be in England for about 3 years before the age of 21.
Oh,
You to
okay.
count as
Yeah.
bro. So
Yeah, the only person who didn't make that roster that's with the first team now is Musonda. He's the only one they didn't put on the roster.
Wait, is Barkley there?
Barkley, Sarr, and Baker, I think, all made it.
Are you talking about the?
Wait, where is it? It's on the fifth stand up.
Barkley is number 18. Yeah, fifth stand up. Yeah.
Barkley's number 18.
18, yeah.
Oh, so he's ruining Giroud's number as well as Frank.
They still don't have Lewis Baker and Ross Barkley with a number on the fifth.
Lewis Baker's
Yeah, no,
22,
Barkley's for sure 18. Baker is 32, I believe, is what I saw. And Malong Sarr, I think, is 31. Yep.
Okay, that's just some random ass number. But it is what it is. I don't see him getting a lot of game time except the Aston Villa game in the cup. It's just Pete that we couldn't find a loan club for him, but I guess he just didn't play well
I read
in
this
preseason.
I read this morning that they're going to revisit. They'll revisit those three in January for loans, but because of their wages, they weren't able to go on loan this summer.
Who?
Barkley, Sarr, Baker is a different story because his wages are high, but Sarr and Barkley, because of their wages, it was hard to get them a loan club this summer is what they said.
What the fuck were we on?
He was on a free.
From Everton.
The
He was
wage-
50 million. He hadn't done much at Everton. He had good potential like 2014 and just slowly deteriorated ever since. And we thought, here you go, have 100k a week and come to the Blues. We'll give you Lampard's number as well for free.
I think people thought it was going to be the next Wayne Rooney or something like that. That's what the hype was about. Barkley on that, right?
He looks like Rooney.
I don't know. It's just like how young he was and how much potential. But his injuries, I remember his injuries used to get in his way as well. Like, and that kind of screwed him. But yeah, but 15. Yeah, but we got him for 15 million, so it wasn't that bad. But the wage was a bit high. Yeah, maybe his wage was high because how cheap we got him.
If anybody looked at Ross Barkley at any point in the next Wayne Rooney, they are smoking the dirtiest bush going. That is ridiculous. Barkley and Rooney, that's mad. Right,
Hey,
so we got.
allow him, fam. Remember that Liverpool goal in the FA Cup? That gassing us, most of us after.
That's like the minute 50 compilations the Cho stands are putting out from 65 minutes of football.
FIBA Ross
I don't want to hear
Barkley.
about it. If you can only come up with a minute 50 of stuff, he didn't do nothing.
Oh my god. I
could be worse.
can't believe you, bruv. I remember the goal against Liverpool in the FA Cup, man.
Shit.
What is this, bruv? I can't be bothered.
Or the 2 minutes and 14 seconds where Callum scores one goal and does nothing else the whole entire compilation video. But that's proof he needs to be starting.
All right, apart from that, what did he do though, Barkley? Apart from that game, what did he do? Apart from scoring that goal?
You said that.
The late winner against United.
Don't forget the the penalty miss at Ajax.
Oh, don't.
Oh yeah, that was the start of the downfall for him, really.
No, there was never enough.
Was there even an outfall? Yeah, there was never an outfall.
Oh, what?
Well, he was like getting some consistent playing time there, like off the bench at least still too, but not anymore.
Not a regular game time at the start of Lampard's first season, but he was just by far and away the worst player on the pitch every single time he played. It's just he got that regular game time because he had pre-season. We know what this man's like in pre-season. No, first season it's the same thing. Conte's season he was mid. Sarri's season, except for that equaliser against United and the goal against Burnley, was fucking useless. Lampard's first season, fucking useless. Loaned him out to Villa, and he was fucking useless there. He's come back in pre-season, but still fucking useless.
So what I'm hearing from you,
he did have hype though. I saw Chelsea fans comparing with Kovacic and say he's better. I remember that.
But Chelsea fans think Callum's going to start at forward too.
I had that debate, Chris. I had debate. Someone thought Barkley was better than Kovacic. Some guy literally like 3 weeks ago thought Barkley was better than Kovacic, and I just left the call.
I've seen that. That was my old channel, 100% Chelsea. You can blame the fatty holding the mic for that horrendous. That got nothing to do with me.
Did you just say that?
Yeah,
I am not.
You start calling me a fatty now, all right?
Not you, man. Have some self-respect. You are levels clear of that beach. Well,
not you.
Don't you worry, my cheek.
Are we talking about the guy who cuts hair?
That Imperial Wolf recheck.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be a documentary. There's going to be a documentary someday about Lewis's time at 100% Chelsea. It's going to be a doc. It's got to be a docu-series for YouTube.
No, Imperial Wolf is dead.
7-part series. I'll get every single member on the channel that you fucked over. And
it's just one of the AFTV, man.
Fata, you were even there for those times as well, so you've seen the fuckery too.
So you call it Peter Griffin's story, shall we?
I've only been to that game for one time. That was drawn with DTFC 4-4. Remember that?
Oh, you're talking about Imperial Wolf. I wasn't even talking about Wolf. I was 100% Chelsea times.
Oh, I wasn't there yet.
Yeah. No, I feel. When was first time I met you? Was the FA Cup final, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the FA Cup final. Yeah.
27. Fucking hell, that's ridiculous. I didn't even deep it was that long, but mad. Big up Goyam saying, Johnny, you let your Scottish son go. Don't think being nice at you in the comments will bring him back. What does he mean by you let your?
I think he means about Gilmour. Yeah.
Billy Gilmour is the Scottish chimney sweeper.
Yeah,
because he can fit down a chimney.
Go ahead, man. Honestly,
no, man. Go ahead. You're undefeated, man. I swear that.
Right, Lewis. Lewis, we have now all got to bow our hats to you because we've just met father for the last 6 months, most of us. You've got to deal with it for 4 years. We've got to give it to you. We'll give it to you. We suffered 6 months. You've got some 4 years of it. Jesus,
No,
mate,
Matt has been a
I'm
G
bowing
since
to
day
you.
one. No,
Bowing.
this
Yep.
guy's been a G since day one. I remember West Ham away in 2017-18. We had some dickhead stewards who were trying to take the piss out of us. This guy tried to fight them. And we weren't even on trying to beef them like that. He tried scrapping the stewards. Like, this guy's been
But
loyal, so pick up him.
Lewis
anyway.
is probably trying to balance out karma. You know, this holiday that just happened. And
Johnny's
karma.
crying in the.
So balancing-
Hey, Johnny,
balancing
relax,
good and
Johnny.
evil,
Yeah,
you know what I
Johnny,
mean?
relax, Johnny. Gilmour stuff, I think we can settle it down. So,
No, I mean
don't
he's
know.
levels on Kessie, guys.
Oh my god.
Does Kessie
Is there any room for Kessie?
There's plenty of other clubs interested.
There's only, it's
I love
only
Frank
mentioned
Kessie,
PSG.
Apparently, I sent you a tweet yesterday about Finn's footy. Frank Kessie has a bit worth €8 million net per year from Chelsea, and then there's a rumors come out as well like Chelsea have been linked with Kessie yesterday as well.
I told
Yeah,
you Kessie links in the summertime.
Yeah, apparently he has 2 offers on the table: 8 million from Chelsea, 10 million from PSG. It's sort of be up to the player to decide where he wants to go. He's not. I think we said back in the summer. There's no way AC Milan were going to be able to re-sign him based off their financial situation. They were trying to extend his contract, but for what he wants, there's just no way that they could do it.
And plus, they have his replacement on loan
Right.
from
He's
us.
worth 50 million though. That's quite a lot. He's worth 50 million. That's his market value.
Bakayoko.
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But
quite
he'll
a
be
lot.
on a free, so that's why we can
That's
give him a little bit of extra wage if he comes on a free, you know. But yeah, I guess it sounds like it'll be between Chelsea and PSG for his services if he decides not to resign.
Imagine the losing Kessie but getting Bakayoko in return. I mean, I think that's a hell of a deal.
But in the Italian league, that might actually run. But here, put a bullet in my head. If I ever see this guy in a Chelsea shirt again, it'll be too soon.
Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Button Rice.
No.
No,
Don't
that's
end
like
it,
you going to
legend.
Man
No,
United, man. You love to see
Take
it.
him.
We don't ever have to do a chat about this dickhead ever again. I don't ever have to hear his name.
I think
wait,
Bellingham
wait,
showed
wait,
it.
wait. I have a picture actually because last night apparently after the Poland game, there's one guy holding a Chelsea fan shirt.
I've seen that.
Oh, I saw. Yeah.
Man said a Chelsea shirt, bro. Like this guy in West Ham's vice captain. I don't get our fan base's obsession with this guy.
Me
I'll
either.
never fucking understand it.
It's insane.
Just a
Just
bad
because
from
he
Mason Mount.
academy
That's
from
probably
like
it.
5 years ago.
That's what it is.
Back
That's
then.
because Tuchel wants him. Tuchel wants him, so they got to keep him.
Yeah,
He never said it. He knows.
Yeah, it's never. It's
I
not.
don't know if
Listen,
we get him as long as
I
the
don't
price tag.
necessarily hate Declan
Price
Rice.
tag.
I hate the idea that everyone is obsessed with signing a mid-DM for £80 million. It makes
Price tag.
no sense when there are so many other better DMs at a cheaper price. Rice makes no. If Man United want to throw out another 80 million because we know that's exactly the sort of club that they are, let them do it. They're stupid with their money. We aren't stupid with our money. We've learned from 2017. We've learned from 2018. Why? Let's not go back to those years. Like we're doing well the last year and a half or 2 years. We're making smart transfers. Let's keep that going. Let's not spend 80 million on just mid DMs and just hope that they're going to work out when they've never even played in a similar system to the one that we play. It don't make sense. That's
he's fourth on my list of.
I don't think he was on the
my God,
list, Josh. He couldn't be on that
Yeah,
list.
He's not a player I want. But of like the 4 midfielders that we're linked with, he's dead last of those guys. Like Tchouaméni, Kessie, even keeping Saul. I did all those things before I'd even entertain Declan Rice.
So
anything below 45, it's still not worth it.
I got a question for everybody. If we do lose 2 midfielders this next summer, let's
Very
just
possible.
say for hypothetically, Kova and Jorginho go. Hypothetically, we're going to have to replace him with 2 midfielders.
Two good ones.
Okay, that's
We don't want to
if
bang average.
that's if we keep Saul. Let's just say
Yeah.
we're going to keep Saul, and you've got Saul and Conte there. Who are the two midfielders that you bring in to replace Jorginho and Kova?
Well, for starters,
it's-
it's still not
Bellingham
Declan Rice,
has to be
because
one.
Still not
For me, it
Declan
would be
Rice.
Kessie. For me, it would be Kessie and Chouameni.
I'll say Declan Rice.
Yeah.
No, oh my Jesus Christ! Bellingham and
That
Wash your
Tchouaméni.
mouth out
No,
with
no,
water.
no. It's just in my head. Bellingham and Tchouaméni, for sure.
Bellingham.
You got to remember the Bellingham fee would be insane. By the way, you're talking about
I
Dortmund.
don't think it'll be like, but I think it'll be the same
80
price as
million
Rice.
pounds.
80.
Yeah,
we,
you're
we,
talking-
we could bring it to 70, but we can afford that though. We can afford that. We can
I'm
literally
saying-
afford that.
I'm saying Bellingham, but I'm saying Gilmour as well.
Oh,
The reason why I'm saying Gilmour is one because I rather spend money on one midfielder and wages when we've got one midfielder in there, and Gilmour's supposed to be the replacement for Jorginho as it is. And I think I
In
could be
some people's
capable of it.
minds.
Did Johnny pay you to say this though?
No,
No, I understand.
Wayne,
I'm not like
Wayne,
you.
Wayne,
Like,
blink
I'll-
twice if Johnny is right next to you.
I'll be real. I'd say get two midfielders and still keep Billy Gilmour and integrate him into the squad a little bit more.
Billy
Because you're
Esta.
correct, Billy Gilmour is being groomed as Jorginho's replacement, whether we like it
Don't
or
insult
not.
Iniesta like
Big
that
ups,
again,
big ups,
please.
big
It's
ups.
just-
Johnny.
Right
Don't
Yeah.
now,
insult Iniesta
it's,
like that again.
right now, it's very early. It's very early to do that. So I wouldn't throw him in as a number one option right now. But he is our long-term replacement for Jorginho. The biggest thing for me is if we lose Jorginho, we have to get a sitter. We have to get someone who will sit deep because we don't have a player that necessarily does that.
That's if we go to a back four. If you're in
Right.
a back three, you do not need a holding mid. And
We still need someone who's a bit more defensively minded and sits back, though.
no, not really, because you have three midfielders back there. The deal with a back four, you only have two back there. So if you don't have a holding midfielder, you leave a big space open in the midfield. And that's not prevalent in a back three because that center back
Yeah.
is the one that plays that role. So if we go to a back four, yes, you need somebody who can play that six and sit there in a hole and hold. If we stay in a back three, you can play with 2 sixes that are allowed to go out and explore and break up the game and get forward. Because you see Jorginho in the final third with us. It's not like he sits back all the time.
No, but his positioning is always just A1, so he's always in a good enough position if we do lose the ball.
Right. Well, of course, I mean, that's what you have to do as a professional. But again, he's not a traditional sitter, as in he's going to sit back and be the, because we have either Thiago or Christensen to do that, play that role. So again, it depends how Tuchel wants to go forward. If he stays with the back three, then you can bring in your midfielders can be more forward thinking because they have coverage back there. If we go to a back four, then at least one of them has to be the type that sits there and holds. And it's harder to find those people. It really is.
Yeah, and I think one thing people have been asking for with our midfield is a little bit of physicality too. People have been mentioning physicality. I think if you bring a Kessie in, that's something that he offers you: physicality and beautiful on the ball too. He's really, really I don't know if anyone saw them against Hubi last year, but he megged Delight really badly, like really, really badly. So he's got great feet. He's a good passer of the ball. He can get in the box and finish, but he's also extremely physical, which I think is something we've been lacking maybe since the Modic days where we had somebody back there who was a little bit more of a presence. But yeah, I mean, all those options are good options. I just think for me, it would be like you get a Chouameni who has the skill, the tackling ability, the pace, all the offensive and defensive tools you're looking for, and then a Kessie who could be more of a physical presence but still offer you some skill on the ball. Bellingham's a great player. I'd love him at Chelsea. I just think when you're dealing with Dortmund, you're talking insane fees for some of these young players. And so
New contract.
80, yeah, big contract and big transfer fee, and 80 million for a midfielder. man, that's a huge asking price for that position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bellingham's gonna
Josh,
be
how much would
hella
you-
overpriced too, isn't he?
Well, he's about to
That's what I
sign
was gonna ask
maybe
you.
a new contract at Dortmund as well. So there might be
Yeah.
a release clause in that new contract
It'll be a fat
as
one,
negotiations. So we'll just have to see if that happens. But Bellingham is more of a box to box, somebody you want to get forward because he has product out of that position. Tchouaméni can play both either way. He can get forward or he can hold. Conte is not a sitting DM. I don't care what anybody says. He's never been that.
You're
So-
right, he's not
Tell
the GM.
them, please, because I've been beating this into people's heads since Sarri season.
So if you are going to go to a back four, you want that holding midfielder to be a physical presence, and that's why you wouldn't put a 5'6" player sitting back and covering that position. You want somebody 6 foot tall, good in the air, and that's a little bit imposing on the ball. So again, it depends on what formation Tuchel stays with as who's right for the system. You can't just say, oh, he can do the job. Well, we're Chelsea Football Club. We don't want somebody to do the job. We want somebody to excel in that position and be the best in the world. That's where we're at. We're not at, we're not Arsenal where you can bring in somebody, go, oh, he can do a job there. No, we want the best. And if they're not top tier, then they can't come play for us. That's just the way it is.
And Matt, to answer your question, for Bellingham, I think between 50 and 60 is about as high as I'd go right now.
What about for Kessie? Because how much is AC offering? Milan
Kessie would be
offering?
on
How much would you pay for him?
Jesse would be on a free.
Well, it's not
Oh,
what,
if you get him on a free,
PSG
then you have
and
to
us.
snatch him. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be on a free. And Johnny, Modric is not a sitting midfielder, and neither is Verratti. So you don't do that to yourself. Neither one of them are holding midfielders.
Yeah, no.
Oh, boy.
Are we still
I
like
think,
Kante being more than midfielder?
The two DMs I
think,
get, I'm not even too sure. I think Tchouaméni would definitely be an option for me because he's the cheapest out of all three of them.
Yeah, that's
Bellingham,
my
I
first.
can't really push as much now because he'd be overpriced too. And if I'm saying Declan Rice is overpriced, I can't turn around and be hypocritical and say, let's go get Jude Bellingham when he might even cost the same price, maybe more. There might be a chance. Boubacar Kamara hasn't gone anywhere, has he?
Yeah, they don't rate him. They don't rate him.
Chelsea.
Nope.
Now, to be fair, it makes sense that we never saw even a single bid go in for him. There must have just been interest, and that was about it. Zakaria would be a decent option, but he is very injury prone, so I'm not too sure about him. Wow,
Kamara.
No, we said Kamara. Right, apparently Chelsea don't rate him like that, so it is what it is. Might actually have to be Billy Gilmour, isn't it? And it's what it is. Like,
Look, again,
I'm on the Billy Gilmour train enough to back it. I just wouldn't want him to start.
He would be better. Billy Gilmour's better if we stay with the back three.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. What it is. He will be better in a back three. If you play him as a holding midfielder in a back four, you're going to run into problems that every team runs into. You can't fix height or physicality.
Basuma,
But
yeah.
I don't think we're going to switch to a back four. Like, I had the idea at the start.
I don't know,
I
man.
thought we were going to try and switch to be a bit more flexible, but you don't really need to.
No,
Like,
you don't
I know
really
it's
need
said
to.
before as well, but it's true. We don't need to switch to a back four.
If
You
it's
can
working,
play
there's no
many
point.
variations of
Yeah.
five at the back. So we might as well just stick to what we have. Yeah, it's defensive football, as a lot of people like to say, but it's also really
We're
hard
winning
to break
games.
down. Exactly. It's a system that works. So just keep to it. Tuchel
There-
doesn't play the same sort of style of play, the same sort of five at the back, the same sort of tactics. He's always flexible the way that he uses it. So you might as well stick to five at the back as it works because we're balling out with it. So why change it?
And that's what gets the best out of Jorginho because he doesn't have to be that killer in the DM. He can play his role and play it very well because he has the defensive cover behind him. It's the same thing with if you want Gilmour to succeed, you don't throw him in a back four, you put him with a back five because he has defensive cover. So when he can focus on building the play up and making passes. And that's fact. If you want him in the squad, you want us to stay with the back five. If you want to go to a back four, he's not that killer DM you want. It's just simple
The
as.
DM I was thinking of, but the only problem is dealing with him. We know we're going to overprice him as well. Is Ndidi, but I know he'd be overpriced.
Well, so that's just the Leicester.
I don't want to give
tax
Leicester any more money.
Yeah.
Hear them ones for sure.
Oh my god!
It depends on the price tag, because I know Leicester City are one of those ones where it's like, it depends on the release clause. Because what was it? Ben Chilwell, was it a £50 million release clause, or was it just he had many years left on his contract, so they could negotiate whatever fee they wanted?
It's Leicester. They hold you for ransom. It doesn't matter what it is. It just is what it is. And for me, Ndidi's really on and off.
I know Maguire was 80 million. I know Chilwell went for 50 million. Was there any other high-profile departures?
You say Maguire?
Yeah, we said
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have. That's the last
Good question.
3 seasons, though.
You got Drinkwater, you got Kante.
Yeah, but we did pay 30 million for drink water. So yeah, don't do business with freaking Leicester anymore.
Yeah, less of that, man. Less said about that fucking better. Yeah, cool. We'll move on from the whole DM debate and everything, because we do still need to talk about Fata's favourite client, Timo Werner. And out of nowhere, linking him with a move to Bayern Munich. I do feel like this is just heavy clickbait, because they've just found a little link between him and Nagelsmann at Bayern Munich, and just thought, let's make a story about it, because it's the international break and there's fuck all to talk about. So let's just create another story about Timo Werner being potentially on his way out. Do you lot see any legitimacy to this one? Because I just think this is a load of bullshit.
Absolutely not. That's a load of bullshit. Absolutely not.
I do.
Rubbish.
Can I ask a question? How much is a plane ticket from here to Germany? I'll give them the money for it if they want it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, do you know what? I hate playing this chicken in the nest. Yeah. You know what? How about we make a bet that Werner will stay here next season? How about that? I've already got the bookie on my list. So you want to be the next bookie? 250.
Do you think I'm silly enough to bet you money? Ain't you stupid?
250 quid that he stays next season.
I ain't stupid. I'm not betting you money.
Come on, man. That's only £2.50. You can get like 6 wings with that.
£2.50.
250. 250.
You know, you mean 250 quid, and I will never do that. I only spend that sort of money on someone else in this stream, but not on you.
I've already on my list now. I've already still won.
He's got one person he bet with already.
I only would bet one person on this stream, and it would be you.
Why not me? Go on. I'll bet with anyone here. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Look,
I can't help it. I just don't trust you.
Again, if you don't think that every player on our squad has a price on their head, they do. So if Werner says I'm not getting the play time I want, if Chelsea say we want to bring a different type of winger or striker in, if Bayern come in with the right amount of money, all those things can make it possible for him to move. Not saying he will, but eventually he will go back to Germany.
It's the same
not
thing with
next
Pulisic,
summer. It might be the summer after that.
Don't you? No, I mean next summer. Do you want to bet now?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
what did I just say?
Wait. Andrew said it. Andrew said it.
I'll bet.
How much you want, Andrew?
250. I'll bet you.
Deal.
Okay.
Click this up.
I don't think there's a lot to the actual like concrete to the rumors. I do think what just sort of holds some truth. There's going to be a lot of caveats here. It's like if he's unhappy with playing time, if the fee is large enough, and the player wants to go, then it's definitely possible. But I think Tuchel will honestly start giving him more minutes, and I think once he starts playing more regularly, some of the disappointment of not playing as much will go away. I mean, and then the fact that he played for Nagelsmann before, it's like I'm sure they still talk. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. Nagelsmann's a younger guy too, so I mean, there's probably a little bit of truth in all of that, but I don't see him leaving unless he's just not playing, and Bayern say, okay, here's 75 mil, or here's.
He's playing well now though. Like if we still got to see him. We haven't seen him with Lukaku yet to dictate his future.
Yeah,
that's why I don't think we should be making assumptions. I'm not pointing you out. Yeah, I'm not pointing you out. We shouldn't overall be making assumptions.
I'm not judging. I'm not going to judge him.
Contrarian view.
I'm not going to
pick up Latimus.
I'm not going to judge him at all until I see him play off of Lukaku this season. I just not.
Just to make it easy, go on, Joe. Just to make it easy, Haaland will go to Bayern Munich next season regardless. If Lewandowski not signed that contract.
Are you high? I seriously wonder about you sometimes. He's going to Real Madrid.
I'm not high.
He's not going to Bayern. Bayern can't pay his wages.
Do you see Bayern's in the past attracting top players like Götze from Dortmund?
Bayern cannot afford his wages.
Madrid can't afford his wages either. They're like 300 million pounds in debt.
Yeah.
No, Madrid could afford him.
Matt, they are supported by a royal family.
No, he's got
family supports them.
But what about Bayern? Isn't Bayern with the still Iraqi Arab money still? They still have. Don't they have a big guy in the back there?
No, Bayern are 51% owned by the fan base.
Oh, that's right. Germany, yeah.
It's Germany.
Same as Madrid.
Yeah, Dortmund. Yeah.
Madrid are building a monster for next summer.
Yeah, they might get Rudiger on a free.
Yeah,
they might get Pogba on a free.
Pogba on a free. Holland. All they have to really pay for is Holland if things go their way.
They've already got Camavinga in.
I think
if
Holland
Mbappe goes there
to the Prem.
No,
I don't think we can afford him.
No, because wait, who's Man City gonna go for? Because I don't think they're gonna go back for Kane. He's gonna be 29.
He's look. He had agreements with certain clubs. Man City was not one of them. Okay.
Really?
Apparently it was meant to be us.
Yeah, but we could see a different, right? Like, you know, a different next season. But again, I still don't see him going to City, possibly PSG if they sell them. If they sell Mbappe,
they wouldn't even pay the money for Kane. Why do you think they're going to come up with the money for Haaland? And it's not just...
If they don't win the league, they could turn a bit more desperate.
Yeah.
Look, it's not just...
In the league, I could see them not going for Haaland.
It's not just a purported release clause, which is not set in stone, by the way. Depending on how Dortmund finished, it could go up to 100 million euros for the release clause. Okay, not 75. But then you have the agent fee, the dad fee, and then the salary.
But the agent fee goes down to it goes to 10% of the transfer fee, doesn't it?
What transfer fee is there? It's a release clause.
75 or 100.
It's a release clause. It's not a transfer fee.
But then don't they get 10% of that regardless?
I don't know. That's
what the new laws were meant to be for January.
That's for transfer fees, though. I don't know if it expressly says anything about release clauses. Because a release clause is not the same as a transfer fee.
So you think that's a loophole that Raiola would try and find a way around?
Absolutely.
This bastard, man. I swear down, he never loses.
It just makes more sense. It just makes more sense to me that he would end up at Madrid. There's just too many things pointing that direction, and then for sure they're getting Mbappe. Like they offered 200 million for him when he's on a free in January, and PSG said no. So he's obviously just gonna go there on a free at this point. Pogba will be on a free. He's not re-signing at Manchester United. You know, and then people are pointing to PSG, but you gotta think PSG. Messi's old. He's older, right? So he's probably got a year or two there. Mbappe will be gone. Neymar, according to the Barcelona president, was begging to get out of PSG this summer. He was basically twerking hard for Barcelona to come get him. So there's a good chance he may want out at some point. That team I don't put a lot of onus on for a long-term future. So for me, Madrid just got Camavinga for 30 million. You got all these guys available on a free potentially if they don't re-sign their contracts. Haaland would really be the only guy they'd have to spend money on.
It's not even a lot for them.
It's not. It's really not.
Clause. It's a guaranteed fee. They pay a guaranteed amount of 70 whatever million.
And
euros.
chat,
Keeps
no,
changing, but
a release clause is not the same thing as a transfer fee. Look,
A transfer fee is negotiated. A release clause is set in stone.
It's not the same. The way the money's distributed is not the same. That's why you have laws on a transfer fee. I'm telling you, there's going to be a legal loophole in there.
Though? Just for the sake of the chat, what's the difference?
I think the release clause goes 100% to the club. There's nothing that goes. Usually, when a transfer fee is negotiated, fees are included with the agent and everything else. It's all inclusive. A transfer fee, I believe, is 100% goes to the club.
Isn't
and
it just a
nothing
fixed
goes
price?
to the agency.
I think it's just no, because agency will still have to get some off the release clause. Isn't it just a fixed price that could be negotiated to an extent? So I think they're still technically both transfer. There's both fees. There's transfers.
Well, yes, they're both fees.
Just mute the screen, please.
Jesus.
But I think that look, you have to understand when laws are made, there's always loopholes to get around them. And if you don't think that these agents aren't looking for these loopholes and will negotiate contracts in the future to get around these loopholes, you're sadly mistaken. Rich people find a way to make money. That's why they're rich. They're not going to go, okay, well, they got me. I'm going to give up now. They'll find a way around it.
If the release clause doesn't go to the agency, why would the agency prefer a release clause over a transfer fees? Wouldn't they just always ask for the transfer fees?
They don't prefer a release clause.
Exactly. So wouldn't they just rather go to a transfer fee and not accept the release clause because there always can be a negotiated transfer fee?
Well, that's, again, there's always money paid that you don't hear about. In a release clause, there's still money that goes because the agent is guiding that player to, say, hey, take, the release clause is paid. You need to take this. If you don't think they get money for saying, hey, you need to take this offer, because even if a release clause is paid, the player can go, I don't want to go. So it's the agent that goes, you need to go. You don't think he gets money for that underneath the table? You don't think a fee is paid? It is, always. Money's always involved. That's why they're so rich.
Yeah. Jeez, look at them.
Basically, Raiola just getting money under the table anyway. Plus, I don't even know how the fuck Alfie Haaland's getting involved, taking half of the fee.
Because he's actually the agent or the manager. He's the manager. He manages his son. He manages his son's career.
So then, what's the point? What's Raiola's job?
He is. He's doing all the negotiations as an agent. So I don't think that Alfie Haaland's a registered agent, right? I think it'd be registered. I don't know what the laws over in Europe are. So he runs his son's career, and he gets paid to run his son's career.
Yeah, so he's a manager.
He's employed Raiola as the agent to negotiate with clubs. So of course he's going to get his piece too. It's just it just is what it is. That's why we walked away from the Holland deal because of the money.
It's like an advisor. Like what he said, it's an advisor fee.
Yeah,
so
it's an advisor fee.
An advisor. That's what it is.
Do you see any way we could go back for Haaland though?
No.
Nope.
No.
We have Lukaku.
No way.
You're not gonna play. You can't play Lukaku and Haaland together.
It's not even that, Jester. It's not even that. It's the financial package. Chelsea will not sniff at that financial package. And anyone who says differently has no idea how this club runs. Anyone who says Roman will just pay it has no idea how this club runs for the past 10 years. That's not how it goes. That's how Roman stays a billionaire and how his businesses stay profitable. He doesn't just throw money at it. It's always thought about. There's no way, even if transfer fee will be smaller, but it will still have the same financial package, even probably higher now. And there's no way Chelsea will destroy their wage budget or whatever you want to call it. There's no way they will destroy that. Because once they sign him, they're going to have about 5 to 8 players coming up on their contracts who will want more and more than what they were going to get offered in the first place. And they're just not going to do it. They're just not going to do it.
There's too many people competing for Haaland. There's Real. They want to revamp the squad.
Yep.
Lewandowski at Bayern is like a year older, and they want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And there's like too many top teams. City didn't get a center forward. They know that Haaland has the City connection with his dad and whatever. So that's already like 3 top teams that need Haaland, and we're like the person who's gonna offer him maybe a spot behind Lukaku. So that's not gonna seem very nice.
City are in the same. City, listen, City will be the same when it comes to their wage structure. They're not going to smash it for one player. They're just not going to do it. They're just. I don't listen. They haven't done it before. They didn't do it for Kane. They didn't go and spend all the money for Kane. So why are they going to do it for Haaland? They're just not going to do it.
One player.
How much
But you're not realizing if you sign that one player, you are then not thinking about the rest of your team when it comes to their contract. And
how much is Grealish on?
100 mil.
Well, he cost
on
him
100 mil.
transfer fee.
Wait, Grealish? Did you say Grealish?
Yeah, I heard
it's
it's
250 to 300.
I heard he's the most paid in the Premier League right now.
He's getting his piece, whatever it is. I don't know.
I think he's about 300. I think, or just above.
Yeah.
So you're going to spend an extra £500,000 on that one player. I know he's great, but it's just not. City don't run like that. Great. City are not run like that.
Honestly, I don't think City care about squad balance that much.
They do.
Say at the beginning of the window that like.
Well, mate, seriously, then listen. If you believe that, you're not paying attention to how City run. City don't run like that. Their highest ever transfer fee is the highest transfer fee for Grealish was about 60 million on Diaz. That was it, and Grealish was only 100 million because it was in his contract.
His release fund, basically.
That's all
but they were paying anyways, irrespective of if it's in his contract or not. They were paying anyways. They were still going to pay the money. So saying that they're not going to, that maybe there is some special way that City runs or City operates, that's what everyone said before this last transfer window. And yet they brought Grealish in for 100 million.
But we're not talking about paying someone. We're not talking about paying someone just 100 grand, 150 grand extra more. You're talking 500k on top of what you pay Grealish. Yeah,
right.
That's not. We're not talking about 450 grand or even 500 grand. We're talking nearly 850 grand.
I know how unlikely it is. Yeah, but with clubs like City, same with PSG, you can never really say never with them. Considering now that Guardiola is already hinting about him leaving the club, and they still haven't won the Champions League, they might just go balls crazy. They might just go crazy and do something to just kind of stimulate their Champions League win.
They don't really care about the finances. Pep said at the beginning of the window that they kind of sold for 60 mil, and they didn't. And like he also said, Bernardo Silva isn't happy, and he obviously said that he's gonna leave, and he's still in the squad. So like they don't really care as long as they're on the wage bill. It's not gonna matter.
If they didn't care, they would have gotten Kane. They would have put the money in for Kane this summer. If they didn't care, they would have put the money in for Kane.
Didn't City want to offer like a blank check for Messi from Barcelona? They gave him a blank check.
No, they didn't. That's why Messi's at PSG.
No. Barca rejected it. They rejected it though. This was like
let's get something.
That's what the journals say.
Let's get something really clear. If City really wanted Harry Kane, they would have gotten him. I think they believe they can do without him. If they really wanted him, they would have gotten him. They'll pay anything that Levy asked them to.
No, that's not true. Because they would have gone in. They would have gone in. I think they tried to do it on the cheap. I think they tried, cheaper, as in. I don't think.
The moment they realize that they can't get him for cheap, they'll pay what it's asked, isn't it?
Well, they haven't, but they didn't do that, so that's not true.
I feel like
Which
Adrian
means
was
they
also a
think
factor.
they'll be okay without him. The reason they didn't do that is because they think they'll be okay without him.
It means they thought they could get Harry Kane for about 120 million.
See you, Josh.
And thought they could wear.
But at some point, they realized that it was not going to work. At some point, they realized it was not going to work, right?
Right, and then they left themselves for like 2 or 3 days, and everyone else potentially who they could bring in.
Man. You really don't think that he's that incompetent. I think somewhere deep down in their mind, they think they'll be able to do fine even without Harry Kane.
That's fine, but they still wanted a striker though, so they think they still need a striker. So
again, we're also not looking at the point that FIFA are going to revise how they do FFP, and it's going to be a salary cap with a luxury tax. Okay, so everybody's going to have to get. They're going to come out with these laws, and before that, they're going to go to the teams and say, "Look, we're implementing this in 2 years, let's say. I don't know that.
There's
they're going to give him
cap that's going to go into effect in League when Messi's contract expires. So they kind of got him through the door before the rules started. So
well, see, and they've actually also admitted PSG that they know they can't be investigated for 3 more years, and that's why they put all this money out.
Yeah,
because they know they can't be investigated for 3 more years. So they know what they're doing is not balancing the books. The reason that they make clubs balance their books is because if they become financially insolvent, somebody has to pick up that tab. And you have clubs that get destroyed over this kind of thing, and that's why these rules are put in place. Because what happens when the owners of PSG become broke? What happens if the world goes all electric and there's no more oil money? What happens then?
Listen.
If they're not self-sustaining business, they can't afford these wages. That's why they have it's based on revenue, not on.
If they didn't have financial fair play or any penalties, I totally agree with you. City and Chelsea would do what PSG done and just would probably still do that. Would probably go, you know what? It doesn't matter because we're not facing any financial penalties or anything. But it's funny they do that when 2 English clubs start to get a bit rich. But that's funny. They didn't do it for Real Madrid, for the Galacticos or Barcelona. But there we go. But I agree they would if they weren't thinking about what breaches they could have or penalties, then I agree with you that City would go out and just smash it like PSG would. But I honestly think they don't see it like that. They'll go. I believe they would go for a Kane, but I don't think they would go for 150 million. Kane. They'll go for like 125, 130 at the most, and that's it.
There is a general question here I really want to ask. We've heard everyone talk about FFP, fair play and all that. What is really the worst case scenario? What's the biggest penalty that a club can be given if they break FFP?
Well, they can give a transfer ban. They can be given.
Is that all? Is that something? That's something Chelsea did. And Chelsea didn't die. We won the Champions League just a couple of seasons after. It's not really that big of a deal. I'm thinking that there will come a time where clubs will prefer to take the blow, the penalty, or just do what they need to do anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about the fine. The money doesn't matter. It's just like how they portrayed it.
Well,
why would they fine us for something we
be.
didn't start? That's the
They
reason.
can also be kicked out of all UEFA competitions.
I guess
So
that
no Europa, no Champions League.
Hence why the Super League is not paid.
Look, it is what it is. You have a controlling body that has their rules, and if you violate those rules, they can violate you, and that's what UEFA look to do. That's the only leverage they have is say, we had the biggest, the best competition in the world in the Champions League. You can't come play in our sandbox if you don't play by our rules. They just kick you out of the sandbox. It is what it is. And so that the clubs went, okay, fine, screw you, UEFA. We're going to have a Super League where we're in control of it, and we make our own rules, and we can spend whatever we want.
I guess the Super League was because like the European clubs were kind of broke. Like Real and Barca were broke. That's why they needed the cash for the Super League. But like as far as FFP goes, like actually the smartest thing to do would be to be against like the Super League, because that's what PSG did, and now they're like very good relations. There's a very good relationship between them and UEFA because of that.
That's not the reason they didn't go in the Super League. You got to look into it. Who's their owner? Where their owners
whatever
from?
his name is, he's in the board right now because like they kicked out the old Juventus guys and the Real guys and all those people. So like
where are the owners from at PSG?
Qatar maybe.
Yeah. What's going on in Qatar next December?
World Cup.
Yeah. That's why they didn't go to the Super League. That's the only reason they didn't go to Super League, is because they wanted to stay in FIFA and UEFA's good graces because they had the World Cup.
See you, Max.
If they didn't.
Oh yeah, Max, I can't lie. I'm not making Chelsea's in it now. That is what it is. I'll see you around that another game, G.
Yo, tickets still on sale though.
No,
So,
I mean Don Robbie. I'm not going. It is what it is.
Everybody is still bound to politics in one form of fashion or money in one form of fashion. It just is what it is. We all have to live in that world the best we can. And if you think if your argument takes away politics or money, then your argument is dead on arrival. Because when you're talking about big clubs and owners with this kind of political power and cash, it always comes into play. So the PSG owners weren't going to rock the boat knowing they had a FIFA competition in their country. They just were never going to do that. If it happens next time, if it comes again,
Alex as well, love man.
PSG will be in that because they have to survive. So it just is what it is. So
I have a question for Lewis. Lewis, you raised a concern about the price tag for Declan Rice and also Jude Bellingham. You said it was 80 million and they probably are not worth 80 million. So I'm going to turn the question around and ask you, with 80 million pounds, what caliber of midfielder do you think you can get with that? The quality in terms of 80 million?
80 million? Two.
Yeah.
I can get two for 80 million.
No, let's say one. Let's say one player. Which player right now in world football?
In terms of a DM or just midfielders in general?
DM, obviously.
As a DM,
there's not one.
Casemiro, maybe?
Yeah, he's over the hill.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of like someone would be worth that sort of fee at the very least. I'm seeing Kimmich potentially. That would be a good shout for 80 mil, I think.
I still wouldn't pay 80 mil for him.
Yeah, like all of these options, like 80 mil, you're looking at one of the best players in the world, not even just in their position, in the world. So paying that much is a fucking lot of money. So I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
For 80 million, I don't really know who's worth that.
I get though, but do you remember when Liverpool signed Henderson from Sunderland, and he was what crazy amount, and everyone was asking the question like, come on, what's going on? Because Modric was even priced with something similar. I think Chelsea tried to pay that amount to Tottenham for Modric about a season before that transfer window.
Modric was about 40 mil.
It was the same 40 mil Liverpool got Henderson for. From Sunderland.
Henderson didn't sign for 40 mil.
No.
I think he did.
No.
From Sunderland?
No.
Yeah. I think he did.
No chance. Let me find this out now. But
well, that's got to be one of the worst transfers ever.
No way Henderson was signed for 80 mil.
Not 80, I said 40.
See you, Wayne.
40,
we got Wayne.
Between 16 and 20 million.
16 and 20 million for Henderson.
Yeah. And he was playing on the right side as well. He wasn't like this when he was playing on the right side.
Henderson for 40 million. That have to be one of the worst of the decade.
Nah.
Well, I get that. My opinion on Declan Rice is this. I remember
Chat's saying 18, 30.
Yeah, it was 18. It was 16 to 20 million. That's what Wiki's saying.
Yeah, 16.2. Fun.
I would have thought it was more than that. But my opinion on Declan Rice is this. I remember when Man United signed what's that, Michael Carrick from Tottenham. As at then, I don't know, maybe it was because of my level of knowledge of football. I don't know. I'm open to correction. But Michael Carrick wasn't really that great of a midfielder at first. Even throughout his career, he wasn't really that exceptional. But I've heard a lot of football pundits and also experts rate him very highly as well. So I kind of have that window in my mind to say maybe there's something that Declan Rice is doing that probably my football eyes are not matured enough to see.
I hear what you're saying, but Michael Carrick also cost 14 to 18 million. These are the things. Those price tags I can get behind. When you're saying anything above 40, 45 million for this guy, I'm like, what? No chance. To be honest, I probably would take prime Michael Carrick over Declan Rice anyway. I won't even lie.
You don't even have to go that far. There's players playing in today's game that I would take over prime or Declan Rice. Look at that. Focus just went on my camera.
For some
donation,
reason, this window we tried to get like a positive net spend or something. So like the typical Chelsea thing would be to like sign Tchouameni after like they didn't qualify for UCL and then loan him back, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for next season. Next season we'll
we
go
were
good.
too focused on other
No
transfer
rush.
targets, and I think Tchouameni Loki wanted to stay at Monaco for another year anyway. So it's fine. If we got him, I don't think he would have stayed at Chelsea. I think we would have loaned him anyway, so I'm not really too fussed about it. Just get a midfielder in for next year. We wanted a midfielder. We got Sal Niguez in for the season. That's sorted. So I'm fine with that. Maybe Sal becomes our permanent transfer anyway. We have to wait.
He's a baller. Big time baller.
What I've seen and heard, I'm excited. I'm not going to sit here and like spit bars on him or anything like that because I just haven't seen enough of him play. But from what I've seen, I'm excited and I'm optimistic on this transfer. So I just look forward to seeing him in the starting lineup. That's all I can really say on him.
Yeah,
just so
looking very promising now.
Just so everybody, so I got to teach my English brethren how to pronounce name. It's Saul. It's not Saul. It's Saul. He's Spanish.
It's Saul. Yeah, not Saul.
So-
We keep saying Saul.
I mean,
Saul.
Was I saying
I
Saul?
No, there's better call Saul.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Saul.
Saul.
Seen
So-
so many people pushing that name recently.
So what's the fate of Barkley and Loftus-Cheek in this team? Like, are they gonna be just League Cup players or what?
Yeah.
They're going to be loaned out again in January. They're going to try at least to loan
I'm
them
thinking
out.
about
No,
what
they'll be
happens
trying to get
between now and
sold.
January. There's a lot of time between now and January. These are
Well,
footballers.
absolutely
Really
nothing.
not
They'll just
that
be
much
sitting
if
on
you
the
look at
bench.
it. Because
On
you've
the
got
bench, maybe play a couple games.
They're probably gonna rot in the like under 23 squad like Danny Drinkwater did last season, and eventually in Jan when they can offload someone, they will.
Now, to
How
be fair,
could
I
they
think
not have seen
Ruben,
this
I
early?
think Ruben actually has a bit of an opportunity. He might get a chance to show himself, but Barkley, he didn't even impress me in pre-season. At least Ruben Loftus-Cheek had good games.
The only chance or the only hope I have of seeing them play for Chelsea this season is in League Cup games. You know those, because very soon now after this international break, the fixtures are going to be coming really quick. So there'll be lots of game compressed together. Those odd League Cup games, I think that's when we'll see them feature. But in terms of Premier League or even FA Cup, I really don't think we're going to see Loftus-Cheek or Barkley. Because there is so much options in terms of hierarchy and pecking order. There is so much options ahead of them. I really do not see how they feature. Like I said, besides the odd League Cup games,
Tuchel really likes to build like squad chemistry. So initially, before the window closed, they didn't even assign them squad numbers, and they were like told to like find new clubs or something. And now, since like they didn't find new clubs, I don't imagine they're gonna have even a chance. Like it really depends on like the injury issue. Like if for some reason we have like 2 midfielders out of the 4 injured, and we have like a League Cup game against like some lower tier side from like the 5th division or something, then yeah, maybe Ross Barkley because he has chances in that cup. But like besides that, I don't see Lewis Baker playing at all.
Oh, no, definitely not.
I wasn't referring to Lewis Baker at all. I was just concerned about like former first team players, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and also Ross Barkley. But I really, from their own perspective, I think especially Ross Barkley, I see him going the Danny Drinkwater way. It's just going to be, since I'm signed to a contract with Chelsea, this is like open season to do whatever I want. And just, and once the player begins to fall into that trap, into that kind of situation, it's very difficult for them to claw back out of. It's always difficult, especially at the stage that Ross Barkley is now. So I kind of feel for him in one respect, but on the other hand, it's just the way it is in football. These kind of things are just difficult or impossible to avoid.
Yeah.
Barkley is just simple. He just isn't good enough.
Needs to go.
I'm about to have to go to get ready for work.
There was a time, there was a time where Barkley and
I just have to say one thing before I go.
Go on, Jester. Yeah.
I want to say wish my daughter a happy 25th birthday. She turns 25 today. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From everyone on the panel and us as well. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great day with her today.
She's in Austin, so I won't even get to see her.
Oh,
So.
you're going to speak to her at the very least.
Oh yeah, I just texted her. I'm trying to figure out what her schedule is to give her a call, but it is what it is when you get old and your kids move away. Sometimes they're not always available. So I just wanted to wish her happy birthday on live stream, and I'm gonna bounce and get ready for work. Y'all have a blessed day, and up to Chelsea.
Yeah,
Take care.
no, I hope
Yeah,
you and her have an
Happy birthday
amazing
to her,
day,
man.
Jester. You
Happy
take
birthday
care,
to her,
man.
yeah.
Enjoy your day, bro.
There you
Yeah,
go.
man.
Bless, man. Bless. Big up Cali Drops as well, saying, did you all see Werner miss another open net? Lol. Yeah.
What about the
it's just
assists and
typical
goals that he
Timo.
scored?
You know, this is the thing with people, man. Every day, they just Werner madness. Like we're just gonna
Always
ignore
targeting the
everything
bad
else he
side.
does because he missed.
Yep.
Oh man, just come on, man.
It's just rival fans. Like, what about the goals and assists he scored? They never talk about
They
that. It's
don't
always
matter.
the
I think he was a
negatives.
Chelsea
Yeah.
fan.
Say again.
I think he was a Chelsea fan, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's still, bro. It's just, for me, I'm like, get over it, man. Players miss chances. Like, it's not a big deal, man. And it's international football, bro. It's not even for Chelsea.
Let's
Yeah,
be honest
Joe
though,
barely been
I'm
playing,
a big
bro.
fan of Werner and everything, but like I have this feeling that he's the one who's most likely to be sold, because if you think about it, like they're never gonna sell Mount, and like Kai Havertz isn't sellable right now.
Nah, it'll be
Lukaku is just been
Pulisic.
signed.
It'll be
And-
Pulisic if anyone gets sold first, I think, then Werner. Because Pulisic, if he doesn't prove himself this season, well, I think it's... And if his injuries keep coming, well, maybe look somewhere else, but I hope he comes in form, because if he's in form, he's going to be amazing.
Half the American continent is backing Chelsea because of Pulisic. Like he's like the poster.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the market.
so many clubs
It's
that
not...
don't-
One sec.
players.
Matt, I hear what you're saying, and
I kind of agree with you on the fact that if he doesn't prove himself this season, he could be the one that's gone. But there's two things. The first thing is the marketability. I do think that comes into account. The second thing is also resale value. We spent 70 million on him, and we know what Chelsea's like with sustainability. I don't think they'd be willing to make a loss on him. Whereas Timo Werner, if he doesn't have a good season, he did only cost 50 million. He was a big success in the Bundesliga. If a Bundesliga club came in for him and they paid a similar amount, I could see Chelsea pull the trigger. Pulisic, I do agree with your point. I get it in terms of his playing ability. I understand. But I just think with how much he cost and also the marketability to the American market, I just couldn't see it happen.
Can I just say about the American market?
Yeah, can I say something quick?
The American
One
it
sec.
doesn't work. There's no such. This American market doesn't work anymore. If you look at the statistics right now, it's turned to Reina, it's turned to McKennie. This market, its American statistic doesn't matter anymore. This was 2 years ago. Go on, Tim.
Really?
It doesn't matter anymore. It's gone off.
I was gonna say, if that marketability was so valuable and so important, like you think, or like you're saying, then whoever it would be so important that people will be willing to pay to have him. So it counters your point about the transfer budget. Like, if the marketability is so valuable, then pay for him. Then pay more than what we got him for. You know what I mean?
That's a very fair point. I could see Maria pulling that off as well. That's a very good point.
So and a lot of teams, there are a lot of teams, top teams that don't have American players. Are they not marketable as well? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like the country, because like with US and with how they're trying to push national football as well, and with also Pulisic's name and how it's grown over the last 5 years, I could see him still being very marketable. But if you're saying that
Man United, what American player does Man United have? They are like the biggest in England, in terms of brand.
But
in the US, apparently Chelsea's name's been getting bigger over the last few years too.
United is
definitely, of course.
At some point, Pulisic's going to retire. What, are we going to sign another American to replace him? I don't get it.
But that's why we'd want to get that money back in, because of the marketability that he would lose. Which is why I agree with what you're saying, that Maria could actually be able to get a bit more of that money than I thought.
True story.
That's
but Lewis,
I think if we could get a similar amount for Pulisic, I think it's likely that he would end up leaving if he didn't have a good season this season. But I think the key thing is the money. That's going to be the key thing.
Well,
you know what I
that's
think?
Pulisic.
So,
Yeah.
Juventus love swap deals. Yeah. So what I would do is at the end of the season, if Pulisic is not doing what we expect, we could just swap him for Chiesa. And maybe maybe add a bit of money.
You think Borussia Dortmund is difficult to negotiate with? Yeah. try Juventus. Juventus are one of the most difficult clubs to negotiate with when you want their players. It's so difficult. Can't you remember the time we tried to get this left wing back? What's his name? I think Antonio Conte wanted him so bad. Alexandro. Yeah, they were not budging. It was kind of like the Kunde situation. I think he wanted to come as well, but they were not budging at all. Like, it's so tough to negotiate with Juventus. If they're not going to let Chiesa go, if you like drop Mason Mount there, they're not letting. Yeah.
But the thing is as well with Lewis as well, the new marketing progress model now is merch. We see that from PSG. Like, I don't know about you guys, but in Australia, every fucking guy has a PSG top or shorts or pants, and they don't even know players. So now the new scheme is for marketing is clothing. It's not really the player's brand in the team, if you get what I'm saying. So it changes every couple of years. Now it's marketing clothing. So that's what now Chelsea need to probably step up with, because PSG just dominating that game.
No, Nike needs to step up with it, because they're the one giving us their trash kits every season.
Yeah, Nike still remains the major beneficiary of kit sales. Like, if the sponsor or the makers of your kit still get the highest percentage of the sales from the kit, so that argument has always been a bit fishy to me. The kit sales thingy, you know.
I'll see you guys later.
So,
take care.
See Andrew.
But I was gonna say something about Timo Werner. You know, we're talking about who's gonna be sold first, Pulisic or Timo Werner. My point with Timo Werner is this, and I'm gonna pose it as a question: do you think a forward player can be considered as successful or has had a successful career if they are not too much into the goals department? They might be okay with assists, but in terms of goals, do you think a forward player can be remembered as great or iconic if goals is not part of his game? That's a question.
It depends.
Great or iconic. Good.
No, it depends though. What position do we classify Timo Werner as? A striker or what?
He's definitely a forward. That's why I use the word forward.
He's an inside forward at the end of the day. He's an inside.
Yeah, so I feel like there's an exception. But if you're a striker, then you're you know, we rate you on goals.
Was Torres a success?
The reason
goal involvements, because I get what you're saying about his finishing. I understand that, but also I think Timo Werner's had the most assists out of any Chelsea player in a single season since Fabregas.
That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make. So the point I'm trying to make in general is this: I think this season, because Timo Werner, his other contribution to the team is always looked aside. It's always looked over. So everybody remembers the misses and all that. I think if Thomas Tuchel can model his game a little bit to be more of a provider than him being the one that we depend on for goals, maybe then, if it's not so obvious that he misses a lot of chances, a lot of people will actually appreciate what he does for the team. I remember a player in Liverpool, Dirk Kuyt. I don't know if you remember him, Dirk Kuyt.
Yeah.
You know, Kuyt. He wasn't really into the goals department, but he was a tireless worker in the forward position. You know, if Timo Werner can be something like that, but it depends on what he wants. Maybe his dream in football is to like have the numbers in terms of goals and all that. Maybe he's not willing to like sacrifice and be the workhorse and then just supply those final balls to the people that do the finishing. Maybe that's not how he sees his game to be going forward. In that case, maybe he can leave. But as a forward player, if you want to really contribute to a team, want to be very, very valuable to a team, I think Timo Werner his game can be modeled to be more of a provider than actually the person that you depend on to finish off chances.
It's the obsession.
I don't know what you guys.
It's the obsession with. I think sometimes when a player has a difficult time, I feel like sometimes fans of the opposition, but also fans of the club, they get far too obsessed with with little mistakes or little situations happening rather than just supporting the player during difficult periods.
Yes.
And I'm not going to criticize and say that nobody does that already. But what I will criticize is that as soon as the guy misses a chance, you lot have a meltdown. And I do generally think you're not really helping the situation either. I think what should be happening with Timo Werner is, for a guy who's had apparently one of the bad seasons as far as people are concerned, to have 27 goal contributions for me isn't the worst. We've had to deal with a Willian who's a work rate merchant for years, and had to understand that the type of play he isn't going to supply us with what we were looking for, but rather we needed to appreciate him for something different, and we did. And eventually he became popular with Chelsea fans for exactly that. I think what people just need to do is, because we signed Timo Werner at a time because he was scoring so many goals, they have to understand he plays in a different league. He plays in a slightly different system. Maybe more so this year, we'll see more of a similar system that he's going to benefit from. But the fact of the matter is, because of these differences, you just need to readjust your expectations and appreciate him for what he does. Because from a tactical point of view, he does provide us a lot. And I'm not even talking assists. You just have to see what his movement does, how it stretches team, how it allows other players to find and create
That's
space
why
for
I love
themselves.
him.
And
That's why I
people
love
that
him
don't
so much.
really appreciate that, you'll learn to
Yeah.
appreciate that when we struggle and Timo's not on the pitch, is when you start to understand actually what he brings to the table. The fact of the matter is, at Chelsea Football Club, for once, we have nothing but choice in these front forwards. And because we have choices, we're out here saying, oh, players should be sold or players aren't good enough and all of that stuff. But there's teams that are killing themselves for the types of options that we have. I can even name you Liverpool. Liverpool are upset right now because, let's be frankly honest, outside of their first 11, as far as they're concerned, the team is not good enough. That's what they will tell you. Whereas we have players that can get injured who aren't necessarily in the first team or haven't cemented their first place, but we can bring somebody else in and actually still be fine for it. So I don't know. The way I look at it is just sometimes people just are blind to seeing the blessings that they have in the moment that they have it, but we'll soon enough eventually realize what that is. And I'm not just talking for Timo Werner here. I'm talking even for Pulisic. Pulisic is a player that clearly has shown us that as an impact player, he's very, very useful to us, and he actually does bring quite a lot. He can be clinical. He can sometimes be frustrating to watch, but that's what you get with young players, guys. During their growth period, during their younger years, you're going to get frustration points like this. If you just adjust your expectations accordingly, I think you'll find I think you'll find a better time with the players, and as a result, as long as the club is winning, who cares? Let them contribute in whatever way they can.
I do
That's
agree with what
right.
you're
Just
saying,
before
though.
you
I
go,
agree.
Just
All
before
right.
you go, Donald, big up Cali Drop saying can't trust Timo in big games when he does a madness. I hear that, but I mean, offside goal against Liverpool that should have stood. Real Madrid second leg, I'll be a 2-yard screamer, but we'll speak
Overreacting. Move
he has
on.
turned up in some big games for us, and has also turned up as well.
I have no
Dinner
idea what
saying,
are you
look
saying.
at Greenwood and then at Werner, a kid versus a man. Here's the thing, though. Greenwood's finishing for a kid at his age is fucking ridiculous. Like, I have not seen a kid be that prolific and that consistent with his finishing. He's ridiculous at it, so you can't compare him to Timo Werner. It's nice.
So is Canadian donations.
No, just stop. Just stop. That's disgusting. Just move on, please.
But you see, the problem here is
that's disgusting.
With the whole Timo thing is that some Chelsea fans are really frustrated that players like Callum can't get a position up front because of Timo. So that's the problem.
Because of that.
And Callum is
big up
really
Johnny.
a player. He doesn't really work with Tuchel's tactics that well. So when they play Callum and he doesn't really score or assist, and he's the perfectionist who always tends to run around the field because he can't really dribble and have it his way, and at the end he comes out with a 6 performance or something. He would definitely prefer Werner, because although even Werner's finishing isn't that good, it's awful.
Money!
At least Werner's work without the ball really compensates. And honestly, I feel he's super underrated, because people tend to say that Torres was a super successful Chelsea signing because of that goal against Barcelona that ended up winning us the Champions League or something. And honestly, I feel that Werner's game without the ball in the final was enough for us to win it, and it was really impactful. And it did end up getting Havertz the 1-0 lead. So in my opinion, I guess I'm the only one that believes that Werner is already a successful signing. And to be honest, I don't really care that much if he finishes his chances.
The way I see Werner, is since the Abramovich era at Chelsea, only 2 strikers have really banged, which is Didier Drogba and Diego Costa.
Take care,
Those are
guys.
2 strikers that have banged. Yeah. You see the other strikers, of all the other strikers we've had, the Shevchenkos, the Moratas, the Torreses, the Loic Remis, the Dembabas, and all that. Of all that lot, Timo Werner is the best of them all. So what I'm saying in essence is Timo Werner is closer to being a striker that bangs for Chelsea than being like the other strikers that we've had before.
Yeah.
I think if he sorts out his finishing, which I think can be worked on, I think he will be one of the greatest, to be honest with you. He has the speed. Even at his age, he still runs as if he's a teenager, So that's why I rate Timo Werner really high.
When Timo starts banging, right, and he's scoring goals and looking like the Werner of Leipzig, I think every single defense, already they're scared of him, but they will be extremely scared. When you got pace and a type of venom about you that Werner has had, right, before he comes to Chelsea, when he gets that back, right, every defense that plays against him is going to be terrified of him. And when you have that in your locker up front, I tell you what, it doesn't matter who you're playing against, they're always scared of him. And the Champions League final, City were very worried about Werner because they play a highlight.
Everyone is always worried about Werner.
Yeah, and he's not even banging now. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's like everyone looks to, he's not scoring enough goals, yeah? But the bottom line is, he offers so much more in every other aspect of his game that helps the team.
Exactly. Thank you.
So if you take
the
Werner out
sending
the
off at
side, you
Liverpool
notice
hurt
it.
me, man.
You
The
notice it
sending
when
off
he
at
doesn't
Liverpool
play.
hurt me so bad because I knew Werner would have come off at second half on that Liverpool game.
Yeah,
I
but
knew he would
Yeah.
have had a field day. He would have had a field day. Would have enjoyed himself so much.
He would. He would bring on Werner, but at that time we were playing 10 men, so we can't risk it.
No, of course. That's why the sending off was the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. You're not going to put.
there
They
is
probably
a-
would have put Werner on in the second half if we didn't have the sending off.
We would.
But to be fair,
That's the point I was
think
making. For sure.
he would have been great against Liverpool second half if we didn't have the sending off, and he would have been perfect because they would have been a little bit more tired. He would have come on fresh with his electrifying pace, and then he could get into those little pockets with Lukaku. Because everyone, me included, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Werner will play with Lukaku up front. I think everyone's waiting for that game to see, and I think the more that they train together and get an idea, the international breaks sort of ruined a bit of momentum. Let's be honest, but I think that game will come soon, and I think Werner's going to really benefit off Lukaku. I really do. I think he's going to start balling out. I've said from last season, I still think Timo Werner's going to come good this season. And all right, he missed that chance last night, but let's have it right. The ball bobbled in front of him, and that's what happened. But the 2 games before that, he put the chances away, and that's all you can ask, and that's great. It feeds a little bit more confidence for him. And let's be honest, Haaland missed a sitter when he scored that hat-trick. No one's talking about the sitter, but because he's bagged the hat-trick. But every top-class striker does miss chances. They do have moments like that. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, the thing is, right, I don't know why Timo Werner's getting so much hate. Like, I've been saying it on the comments as well. Like, the way he works off the ball and actually on the ball as well, like, he can do literally everything, but the only thing he's struggling with at the moment is shooting. Now we've got Lukaku, who is a scorer. If Werner's getting in those positions and he's scoring and he's like getting scoring chances, whether he's finishing himself, whether he lays it off to Havertz, Lukaku, whoever, he's actually a good player. He's
a very good player. You're right. He's a workhorse. Yeah,
he's having a tough spell,
Torres. Like, this is like the whole Fernando Torres thing again. When Torres wasn't playing well, he was working hard. He was pressing. He was trying to get the ball. He was taking it forward. If he weren't scoring, he was at least getting to try and get an assist. And Timo Werner's the same. Like under Tuchel, you can see the change in him. Under Lampard, you know, he was on the left wing, it wasn't working, and you know, it was just absolute stress. But now the fans are back. The fans can get behind Timo, and you know what? Like watching him against Crystal Palace in the first game of the season, he was
worked his
pressing
socks
hard.
off, man. Yeah,
he
worked
was
his socks
doing
off.
so well. Like
people don't see that though. They don't look at
honest,
that.
Though, guys.
They always look at the he can't finish, but
they look at
but
stats.
the bottom line
No,
is if Werner creates more opportunities for Lukaku to score the goals, I'm all good with that. Like at the end of the day, it's a team effort, right? Everyone works for the team, right? So if Werner is contributing to how Lukaku can bang in the goals, I'm all for it, and vice versa. Because I think with Lukaku, Werner will score goals, and that's going to come with time and then playing together. But last season was a unprecedented season in the sense of COVID and everything, and he just come to the league. So I think now he's settled. He's won a Champions League with Chelsea. Let's judge him on this season with a proper number 9, and that's a fair call.
Not even that, just like I said, I mean, just go back onto the COVID thing. You know, he's come in, he's like completely unsettled because of the COVID situation. Things didn't go right for him. Something's obviously happened that knocked his confidence because Timo Werner arrives, right? He scores his debut goal against Tottenham in the Carabao Cup. He bangs in 2 smashing goals against Southampton. And then next thing you know, something has happened behind the scenes to knock his confidence. And then he misses open goal. He's getting slated for it. Like, if you're a Chelsea fan, yes, okay, you can be annoyed that Timo Werner misses key chances, but you've got to support your player. Unless this Don fully come out and does an Alvaro Morata and says, fuck Chelsea, I want to leave, stay behind your player, man. Support your fucking player. Like,
exactly.
You know, the one thing you should do is giving people stick. Like, we've had plenty of good strikers. All right, yeah, fair enough. We've had, you know, the Patos, the Falcaos, the
Torres,
Maratas, the Shevchenkos. But we have had some solid strikers that, you know, we didn't really get behind. Giroud done a fantastic shift for Chelsea. Costa, Drogba, Demba Ba, for God's sake. Demba Ba.
We had Hasselbank, bro. Viali. Do you know what I mean? We've had unbelievable strikers. Good Johnson was a baller. You know, and I look at it like this. I think Werner is. People misunderstand Werner as a player and his profile. I think they just look to him as a centre forward, but he's not actually a centre forward. And if you look at him at Leipzig, he played as an inside forward with a false number 9 in Poulsen. And if you watch him with Havertz, and in the Champions League final is a perfect example. They work so well together.
Yeah.
If you put him with Lukaku, we're going to see him now with an actual striker who can hold the fucking ball, actually 100%. Hold it with his back
the thing
to goal.
is, like, it's another Diego Costa scenario because Lukaku will bully defenders. He will put them under pressure. You know, Diego Costa was brilliant at that, and that's how he scored all his goals. He wound up the defences. He was aggressive. They couldn't handle him. Lukaku's going to be the same. So you imagine if we're on a counter-attack in a fast-attacking game, you've got Timo Werner taking that ball on a counter-attack. If he's putting the ball into the box, I'm going to say, you know, 8 times out of 10, that's a goal. Like,
you know what it is, though, guys? The issue is like people are just not readjusting their expectations. Look, Chelsea signed him to score goals for us. You're absolutely right. If that's what you're thinking, that's exactly what we signed him for. The fact of the matter is, we've also just signed Romelu Lukaku to address that same exact issue. What does that tell you? That Chelsea understand and have readjusted their expectations. Why can't you, as a fan, readjust your actual expectations and appreciate the player for what he needs to be doing and how he needs to be contributing?
I get your point. Obviously, the fans need to be more supportive of Timo because he helps the team a lot. But let's not get it wrong, yeah? Timo has a lot to do to help the situation here, you know.
He's not that he doesn't. No, like we're all acknowledging he's
Jorginho.
Yeah.
I'm going to take an example here. Jorginho, he started off hated. He was playing, you know, poor performances, and people were absolutely slating him. This Don had 2 choices. He could have either fucked off back to Italy, or he could have done what he did now. and put the shift in, earn the fans' respect by playing good football. Timo Werner is 100% capable of that. He can adapt. He's 20.
Oh, he must have been smoking.
Not much talking. It's season. Whatever time he thinks he has to impress everybody is this season. There's no other time apart from this season. If he doesn't bang this season,
Timo Werner.
No, you can't say Jorginho had 2 bad seasons. He won the Europa League, man.
Right,
yeah, really?
There was times when he was getting booed off the pitch because people hated seeing him. He was
those people.
Those people. Okay, all right. In that logic, then is Rob Green the best keeper in the world because he won the Europa League? Like, just because you won the Europa League, it doesn't make you a GOAT player.
I get that.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but that was a lot down to Sarri tax as well with Jorginho, with the slander he was getting.
Guys. When it was Jorginho in 18-19, that was the fans just being fucking brain dead. Jorginho was
he started to improve on the Lampard, but he wasn't doing the best. But
when
now,
Chelsea got
he's one of the best midfielders in the world. I'm telling you that now. He's just won the fucking best player, best player, I think.
Let's not forget that when Chelsea got Jorginho, Chelsea were obviously looking for a different style of play because Jorginho's arrival coincided with Sarri. So it was a different kind of play. Jorginho was brought in to implement a style of play that was more pleasing to the eye and all that. When Sarri left, Lampard coming in with his own ideas didn't really understand, probably tactically, how Jorginho can fit into his system. That was when Jorginho was getting the maximum of the hate. It was during Lampard time.
Yeah, but Lampard played a 4-3-3.
Wait, what? I'm disagreeing.
That is the problem. Whoever he played, this is problem.
Improved under Lampard. Like Jorginho is playing so much better under Lampard.
No.
Right, we're not doing this.
Jorginho had a good 19-20, but then Lampard benched him for Billy Gilmour, and then as soon as he switched to Forster back in last season, he barely even used it.
Yeah, but Lewis, can you big up Lewis, bruv? Love to see you back, by the way, man. Big up to you, man.
Hey, great to be back.
Yeah.
Great to be
back,
Lewis,
it's a great thing. That's not a bad thing. Like he bought through Billy Gilmour. Look what a wonderful player he's going to be for us. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, Billy Esther is if he was in the squad now, he'd be competing with Jorginho. Let's have it right. 100% he would be.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't support that either. Like Jorginho at the moment is in a class of his own. You can't be challenging one of the best midfielders in the league. Like Jorginho,
but Ben, he's got to be rested at certain games.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, he can't play every game.
But then you've got Kovacic who presses. Like you've got Mount who presses. You've got loads of midfielders there, Johnny.
I'll come back with this though as well. When we played at the Etihad, and that was a masterclass, by the way, second half, and that was Jorginho coming on with Billy Gilmour. So they can play together, and also Billy's played as a lone 6 as well /8, and he's now learning to play in a double 6, which is what Tuchel advised him to do. So he's well within Tuchel's plans for next season. That's a fact.
Yeah. One thing,
but in our squad, there is no one else that we've got that can do anything remotely similar to Jorginho. No one that can fill certain qualities that Jorginho has, and that's why I'm upset that he has gone on loan, because I think he had a role.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but there is one thing that most Chelsea fans they tend to, I don't want to say forget, but they don't pay much attention to. Chelsea's midfield dynamics. Yeah, it differs depending on the players that are the 2 players that are being selected to play in that deep role. Remember last season when it was Kante and Kovacic, Jorginho wasn't even in play. There were some games where Jorginho didn't play. I think at the beginning, they were all mixing it up and all that. Sometimes it would be Kante and Kovacic. There is a different dynamic to it. So what Tuchel did is Tuchel found a way, irrespective of the midfielders that you play in the middle of the park, it still works. Irrespective of the style of the midfielders, it still works. It can be Kante and Jorginho. It can be Jorginho and Kovacic. It can be Kante and Kovacic. And now with the arrival of Saul, it will bring a different mix also to that to the way that thing
Sol's
operates.
Sol's a stopgap. Let's be honest, yeah. Let's have it right. He might he's not played a Premiership game in his life. He's gonna realise what it's like to play in the Prem because it's a whole different level.
Okay,
considering
considering the possibility, let's assume it's possible that it can happen. Let's assume that Saul Banks. Let's just assume Saul Banks. What is the faith of Billy Gilmour?
Billy Gilmour's coming back regardless next year. He's coming back.
Come on,
Gilmour's going to be a
Saul Banks.
Gilmour, like I say to every Chelsea fan and every rival fan, Billy Gilmour is a mould of a player like a Xavi and a Modric, and they're very scarce in the game. If you go across all the European clubs in world football, that role, that type of profile player, there's not many around, and Billy Gilmour is one of those. He's in that slice there. He's that good. He's so unique in what he does.
To be a professional footballer,
for you to be a professional footballer,
you must have a profile.
Comments, bro.
Yeah, I can't.
For you
Cali
to
Drops is just trolling here. Like he's just trolling. Like fuck it.
Don't
I'll
listen
let
to
it
them,
run
guys.
with it.
It's cool.
It is what it is.
That's
Completely different.
That is a good shout. Don Mikel Obi and Jorginho. It is a good shout. If
No, it's
Mikel Obi
not.
was around,
They're
it
two
is.
different players. Mikel is
What I mean,
Wait. Pause,
that's not
pause,
my point.
There are two different players. But I'd take John Obi Mikel in this squad.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, true.
Because
But
the aspect of
Mikel was not over Jorginho, but like that would be
Jorginho.
great depth. That would be brilliant depth for Jorginho, in my opinion.
Okay.
The things that we appreciate Jorginho for, which is the ease of spreading play, that thing we appreciate Jorginho for, that first touch spreading of play and his vision. Mikel can do that.
Can playing as DM at the moment.
They can't even
and Jorginho staying back.
What up, Fater?
One of them can go forward. One of them can stay back. The Kante Jorginho thing works so well because Kante.
I'm here for your client, buddy.
And Kante does it so fucking well.
Do you know how Jorginho and
Kante's irreplaceable right now. There's no player. If you take Kante out of our side, there's no player like Kante and Jorginho's matured at Chelsea. He's become the player he is now. He's actually matured. He's in his prime, and there are not hardly any registas around European football. And I put Billy Gilmour in that mould of player, and they're very scarce. It's hard to find it. Real Madrid tried to buy Billy Gilmour at Rangers, right? All right, and that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. There are not many around, and when you've got these players, you nurture them.
I understand your point, but just because two players are of the same profile doesn't mean that one has to be replaced by another in the team. That's not what it means. For you to be a professional footballer, you must have a profile. You should already know like what kind of player
but if you don't replace them, bro, if you don't replace them,
just let me finish.
One at a time. You lose all those skills.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
you lose
if you have the same profile as Jorginho, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, but
how good
Johnny, let him land.
No,
go on.
If you are the same profile as Jorginho, doesn't mean anything. What matters is how good are you at being that profile? Are you world best at being that profile? That's what is important. Chelsea can go and get a different profile of player that is world best at being that profile that it is. It's just how football works. Everybody plays alike, like everybody. When Nani was brought into Manchester United, he played like Cristiano Ronaldo. But as time went on, we could see it was a bit different, innit? It's just the way it is. You have to be world class at what you do. It's not just about being the same profile as Jorginho.
Bruv, 1 second, yeah. If you take Jorginho out of the side, right, there is not one player in our squad that can offer me, all right? They can't do what Jorginho does.
Do you know? Go watch the games last season. Go watch the game last season when we played Kante and Kovacic. Kante and Kovacic played together in games, and they did well.
Johnny, relax. You guys are having a conversation, man. Have a conversation.
The guy's talking over. Yeah, the guy's talking over me, man. Let me land. I've just listened to you for 2 minutes.
Sorry.
If you don't replace Jorginho, then you don't have those qualities, all right? And those qualities are very unique, right? So that means you have to play in a certain type of way and a different style of way. Yeah, that's a fact. Now, Billy Gilmour offers you these qualities, and he's the only one that we've got in our squad that can offer those qualities, and he's going to be the one that takes over from Jorginho, and that's a fact. Tuchel knows it, Chelsea know it, and that's why they ain't sold him like a Livramento. All right? Because if Billy Gilmour wasn't in the plans at Chelsea Football Club, and for the next 10 years, he would have been sold, mate. End of story. And they didn't sell him. They loaned him
Wait a minute, Johnny.
Specific loan.
Johnny, can I ask you something? Because I get what you're saying. Wait. I get what you're saying about Billy Gilmour and his potential in the future, but the one thing we've seen that's different from 2 years ago is the way the club perceived the youth. We're seeing a lot more youth players getting loaned out, getting sold as we used to, because the club's now in a much higher position than it was 2 or 3 years ago. I think with Billy Gilmour, it all depends on Thomas Tuchel. If Thomas Tuchel doesn't see him as a key part of his plans, Chelsea will have a price tag for him. And if a club comes in for him, you could see him getting sold in the summer.
Yeah, but Lewis,
so it depends on Tammy. We didn't expect with Mori, and it happened.
It depends on
he would have been
and Gilmour himself.
And that's the bottom line. He would have been sold if Tuchel didn't think he was up to it or had any potential, and he clearly does. And another reason why Tuchel.
But did anyone come with a permanent bid for him?
No. When Tuchel come in January, he could have. Billy Gilmour wanted the loan. And he didn't want Billy Gilmour to leave. He kept Billy Gilmour. And Billy Gilmour wanted...
He didn't want Billy Gilmour to leave now, right? Billy Gilmour wanted to leave.
That's true.
This isn't about... But the same thing is for Livramento. The club didn't want Livramento to leave. He wanted to leave. You know what I'm saying? They wanted Gilmour to stay in the club for this season. He said, no, I actually want to play.
Gilmour's not going to be sold, Daniel. That's the difference.
Bro, we agree on that. He's not going to be sold, but I don't... Like, everything else, when it... I agree with. I'm sorry. What's your name, bro? The top middle. You were just talking. Yeah, I agree with you in terms of you don't have to have the same type of profile player to replace the player that's previously left. Essentially, when you really think about it, Conte replaced Lampard for us. We didn't have a midfielder dominating our midfield.
No, he
and
didn't
it's a different way.
He didn't replace Lampard. He's no
he did.
In Kante.
But he replaced him in a different.
You can't replace.
If you let me
Lampard,
finish,
Daniel.
he replaced him in a different way because you can't replace Lampard with goals, but we got the best midfielder in the league at that time was Conte, a completely different profile. If we were chasing, hold on, if we were chasing,
you weren't a destroyer, Daniel.
No, you're not listening. You're not listening to me, Johnny. If we wanted to replace Lampard like for like, a player it was impossible. You couldn't do that. So we found a different profile player who's world class in his role to play in that role, which is what I'm trying to tell you. You can't replace Lampard's goals. It's impossible. It was impossible to even get those many goals. I think Platini is the only other midfielder who has as many goals as him, right? And that was how many years ago? So in your mind, if you're thinking, I'm going to replace every player I'm moving on like for like, that's not possible.
That's what I'm saying.
But you've got Billy Gilmour, right, with Jorginho. That is the closest you're going to get.
I agree with you that Billy Gilmour can replace Jorginho. I disagree that he has to replace him. I disagree that you have to replace a player with the exact same profile. That's what I disagree with.
On my point then,
the Gilmour talk is different for me.
Yeah, but Billy Esther, right? Billy Esther is, like I said to you, he's in that mould of a Modric, Xavi, dictate the play, control. He's a metronome, but he's also got that final ball in him.
I'm gonna be honest, Johnny.
He can step towards Hold on.
Let me say this, bro. I don't care about his mode. He's just really good. I care about how good he is. He's a great young player. That's what I care about, right?
Yeah, but he is.
I don't care. If he wasn't,
he will fill in. He will fill in for Jorginho, bro. 100%. Jorginho. If you take Jorginho out of your team and you don't have a Billy Gilmour, you can't play the way that when you play when you have a Jorginho, and that's a fact, right? But we have that. We're very fortunate that we've got a player like Billy Gilmour that we can actually bring in and mold into whatever player we want.
But that's not completely true, Johnny. Because we're not the only team. Because we're not the only team in world football who plays possession football, right?
Right,
we're the only team. But we're the only team. But we are the only team that has Jorginho. Like a lot of other teams play that way. You know what I'm saying? Like Bayern is a possession-based team.
They got Kimmich and what's his name, Goretzka. Yeah,
them guys on Jorginho though.
They're not. They don't do Jorginho.
Yeah.
The only Jorginho.
They're not Jorginho.
The only other player in world football for me that is near is Real Madrid Modric, bro.
I want to say something.
No, Modric is a
guys, let team speak. Go for it, man.
Please. Now, I want to ask one very pertinent question.
Whose microphone, bro?
The potential that has been displayed or exhibited.
Yeah, hold on.
by-
Yeah, sorry, Lewis, just to cut out. There's a microphone bugged somewhere.
There's someone's microphone that's just doing a madness. I'm not lying to you, look, man. It's pretty like significant.
Doing what? What's it doing?
I don't know what type of noise that is, bro, but it's just some sort of disturbance or whatever it is, bro. It's just.
Let me know. Is it gone now?
I can hear.
Is it gone now?
Yeah.
I can't see.
It might have been Donald, but go on.
Yeah, but I want to ask one question. In terms of players who have exhibited their potential while at Chelsea, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Billy Gilmour, who has displayed more potential for Chelsea for playing in terms of the ability to play for Chelsea Football Club? Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Billy Gilmour, who has displayed most potential?
Billy Gilmour is a higher ceiling. Much higher.
Are we really going to forget the season we won the Europa League with Loftus-Cheek being one of the key players?
Wait. Who are you comparing?
I'm comparing Loftus-Cheek and Billy Gilmour.
Gilmour. What was your question?
Gilmour's a high ceiling
at this point, that's what I'm saying.
But he's saying at one point, Ruben Loftus-Cheek was rated so highly that we spoke about it in the same way we're speaking about Gilmour now.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I didn't. Me personally, I didn't.
I spoke higher
that highly as Gilmour.
No, Johnny.
Not for
Johnny.
me
He
personally.
doesn't mean you, but he's saying.
Yeah, I know. A lot
us
of
as a
fans.
fan base.
Yeah. I get that, and Ruben though, but you've got to remember with Ruben, even through his youth career, he had a lot of injuries. He had a growth spurt. His actual physical condition couldn't adapt, and he used to get a lot of injuries, and he still gets those injuries, right? And yes, he burst on the scene under Sarri and that, and he done great, yeah. But I just feel that I don't put him in that category of a Billy Gilmour and a Mason Mount. I think for who Mason Mount and Billy Gilmour are, and the ages they're at, I think they've got much higher ceilings, and they're going to have a much better career ahead of them, and especially at Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
And there's no shame to say that we are producing our best crop of youngsters now. That's fine, right? And that's absolutely clear. Like this group of youngsters that we're producing currently, the last 2-3 years, is completely different to what we've produced the last 10 years. So whoever you want to choose, be it Ake, be it Jack Cork, be it Patrick Van Aanholt, be it any of those guys.
Josh McEachran. Remember Josh McEachran?
That is the player. Yeah. I was about to draw that player.
Josh McEachran, Gal Kakuta, all these guys.
Oh, Kakuta, man. Oh,
all these guys. What we're producing now is a different level.
It's a different animal. Guys, yeah, for sure.
You're seeing these guys go from our academy directly into Premier League teams to start. You know what I mean? And that tells you we're creating players who are Premier League ready now. So it's not a shame to say Gilmour's level now is going to be higher than what Ruben Loftus-Cheek was when he came into the team. Because mind you, he only started playing in the team, I think later on throughout that whole season, right? So I mean, again, I don't think that's really relevant when it really comes down to it, because regardless, Billy just has to prove this season that he's great at what he does. That's it. Everything else doesn't matter. Saul, all these things don't matter if he proves that he's good enough to play for Chelsea this season. Which I think he will. I believe he will. Some believe he won't. I believe he will, but I don't think there's a need to.
I believe it depends. Yeah. I believe it depends on the quality of Norwich. Norwich, are they good enough? Because that kind of affected Loftus-Cheek.
No, those guys are bums, man.
They're bums, but Gilmour has the quality to keep them up.
Gilmour is going to have a relegation. He's going to have a relegation on his. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Gini Wijnaldum was relegated with Newcastle, right? But we could all still see what type of player he was.
Correct.
When Dia was relegated, but we could all see. So all he has to do is show how good of a player he is.
And Daniel, he is. Have you watched Norwich? The first 3 games I've watched them. And he does. When I look at Gilmour, he does everything right. He's maturing. He's bulking up. He's getting minutes. He's shown in the Scotland game. He won man of the match again. You can tell he's a star.
But Johnny, this is why it's like there's no point in getting into the arguments about him coming back. If you're seeing him play, no, I hear that, but you don't need to retaliate because if you see the way he's playing,
that microphone is just back, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, Donald, bro, there's something wrong with your mic, bro. I can't lie. It keeps making a weird crackling sound.
But guys, if you see the way he's playing, and you know how Chelsea is, Chelsea isn't. They don't like just spending money just to spend money. You know what I'm saying? So if they can have a midfielder
Yo,
in
I,
their
I
team,
swear it's not me. I swear it's
I
not
swear
me.
it's not Donald.
Yeah, no,
it's
no,
not
no,
me.
no. Yeah, sorry, I'm muted.
let me
It's
mute
still there.
and let me know if.
No, it's still there.
Nah, it's not me.
Yeah,
I want to mute mine.
It's not Donald. It might be you two. Because I know it's not Johnny. I know it's not Fatik. Can't be Mo either.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it is Toon.
Yeah,
it's
it might have been you two and still. Sorry, man. It's a bit sticky.
I think it's my charger because I'm charging the phone while I'm using it. I think I'll just disconnect.
Oh yeah.
But
Depends
yeah,
on how much
as
you
I'm
got,
saying, like Chelsea, we make smart business, right? We're not gonna go out and spend like we want to save money. I'm pretty sure we would have gone out and signed a right back if Reece James didn't pop up. We would have gone out and actually signed one, right? And even this season, the interest in
Yo, Toon,
Hakimi.
just mute yourself when you're not talking because it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
still
Just
back
unmute
there.
when you want to say something.
Thanks, brother.
Right.
Go for it, Danny. My bad, bro.
Yeah, opportunistic, right? That's what I'm saying. The club, if he has a great season, like we were saying, I think earlier they were saying we probably need two midfielders coming in next year. If he had a great year, they're probably gonna buy one and keep him. There's no like, why would the club want to spend 50 million each or 30 million on Saul and then 70 on a different one? Basically 100 million on midfielders if they feel Gilmour is good enough, right? The club doesn't want to do that. They don't want to just spend money and get signings in. So I think if he has a great year, he's 100% coming back to Chelsea.
Well, I think he's coming whether he doesn't or not, and Norwich get relegated, he's coming back because he's just different gravy, Billy Esther. Yeah. But what I will say is not every youth player that has talent, because obviously we take all the best talent and put it into our youth academy. Because we've got the best youth academy in world football right now. Yeah. And if they're not going to cut the mustard or the timing's wrong at Chelsea or the position's not available, they're going to get loaned or sold, right? That's fact. You know, it doesn't matter. It's like you look at the players that are in our side: Reece James, Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi, and obviously we've got Christensen, Billy Gilmour. Now, Billy Gilmour's the only one out of that lot that has gone on loan this year, but he broke into the side in a fantastic squad with Lampard. So did Mason Mount. So did Reece James, right? And Christensen with Odoi before. So you're not going to have, 8 youth academy prospects all challenging in first team football at Chelsea. It's just not going to happen. And I'm realist with that. I respect that because I love the youth and I want every youth player at Chelsea to break through. But sometimes you have to be something very, very special. It has to be the right time, the right manager. You have to fit the right mould in the position and to see who you're competing with. Now, these are a lot of factors. It's very hard for these kids. But we're very fortunate right now to have the players I've mentioned in our first team, like in our actual first team squad, who are competing and winning major honours. Now, players like Gilmour, they will come back because they are the future. They're at a right age. It suits them to go on loan. We're not dependent on having Billy Gilmour in our squad right now because we've got Jorginho, we've got Kovacic, Kante, now Saul. But you also have to remember, Tuchel hasn't got time as well on his side this season to develop players or take risks, all right? Lampard had that time because he was given a run, all right, with the transfer ban. But Tuchel doesn't have that. He knows if he doesn't win a Premiership title, a Champions League, or get top 4 in an FA Cup, Carabao Cup, he could potentially get sacked because that's the nature of Chelsea.
Johnny, here's the thing. Saul would have never come in if Gilmour stayed. Right, if Gilmour chose to stay as the club,
was down to Gilmour,
so it's not even
as well. That was down to Gilmour and the club. But I stand by this: if the club were really adamant on Gilmour staying, they would have said to him, "No, you're going to stay." So I put it partly on the club, and maybe the club not backing Tuchel in the sense that Tuchel wanted him in the plans, all right, of this season, and Billy Gilmour wanting to go on loan. They sort of said, "All right, we'll let him go on loan," and then we're going to risk going into the market, looking for a Declan Rice, Tchouameni, and a Saul, who are all not the profile of a Billy Gilmour. Let's be real, they're not. They're different players to Billy Gilmour, and they can complement and play Billy Gilmour. But Billy Gilmour was the closest thing we had to Jorginho. So if Jorginho doesn't play, Tuchel has to think about what his pivot's going to be.
Johnny,
And
do you think Tuchel is married to the idea that you have to have a player like Jorginho in there? Do you think he's married to that? Because mind you, he didn't sign. He hasn't signed. He didn't.
When you
The
have a
only
player
player
of
he
that,
signed is
when you have a player of
Lukaku.
that mold, I feel like that becomes the case.
no, I think he loves the fact that he's inherited a player like Jorginho, because a player like Jorginho is, like I said to you, they're very scarce in the market. There's not many
That's the
around.
thing. It's so hard to replace. But when you
Right,
have a
and
player
that's
like that
why.
in your squad, you accommodate for them.
Yes,
So you have
and
to
you
make
have
a big
Gilmour,
change without him.
and that's my point.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
agree.
point with Gilmour, and Gilmour having those special qualities like a Modric, Xavi, a Jorginho. These players come once every 10 to 20 years of a high level. So when you have this player, like in my opinion, you take Gilmour right now. Gilmour, you can put him into Manchester City's way of playing, you can put him into Liverpool's way of playing, you can put him into Manchester United's midfield, and he automatically makes them better. He will make them better. And when he plays with us in games, he will make us play fantastic because he's just a baller. And it's whether you want to accommodate that baller. But right now, we've got Jorginho.
I don't think you need to accommodate. I don't think you need to accommodate because he's a very good player, right? And when you say accommodate,
Well,
right,
he
and it
complements
almost
the way
means like
Tuchel plays, doesn't he?
almost mean like yeah, he listen,
Yeah.
and this is how and that's why I try to stay away from the comparison that you keep making with Jorginho. He only plays that way for
specifics, yeah.
Chelsea because that's how Chelsea currently play. If we were playing a two-man midfield with four at the back and he came in, that's how he would play as well.
Yeah, but
right?
also
Like
Jorginho in Italy, Daniel, played with Verratti, didn't
if
he?
you watch him,
so,
though, like-
so Verratti for me, I see like a bit of Billy Gilmour, that profile playing with a Jorginho.
That's who I would have compared him to more than a Jorginho, basically a player who, because again, from what I've seen about,
But
I
Gilmour can do what Jorginho
Gilmour's.
does. He can
Listen,
do
I
it.
was watching Gilmour's FA Cup runs, and I get it. People don't really care about like the FA Youth Cup or the FA, those youth runs or the FA Youth Champions League. I was watching those, right? And in those teams, he was an excellent two-way player. Meaning he wasn't just a metronome where he just keep the possession going, keep possession of the ball resistant. His through balls, his passing was excellent.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think we just get so stuck into how we're playing currently and the players that we have to replace everybody like for like, or even if they replace them, they have to play the way those guys are currently playing. I don't think that's the way it's going to be because Tuchel.
Go on.
I think Tuchel just made use of the best. Basically, he made use of what's best for his current team, right? Because there's no way he was going to come in and sign and get 8 more signings. We just made 7, right? And this season we made 2, right? There was no way we were about to make. He's coming in and saying, yeah, I need these 5 players to play exactly the way I want to play or my style and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's not going to happen, buddy. We just signed 8 players last year, so you're not getting that. So, as a great manager, he's adjusted.
Yeah, he's adjusted. He's a great manager. But what I'm saying, I think his dream formation is a 4-2-2-2. He'd have the double sixes. Then he'd have, let's say, Havertz and a Mount, or Ziyech and a Mount, etc. And then he'd have the maybe a Werner and Lukaku in our current squad up front, right? Potentially, or a Kai Havertz and a Lukaku up front, and a Mason Mount with a Ziyech, right?
But Johnny, this is why I said don't get married to it. Because in that double six, Marquinhos was playing in there, and Marquinhos is in no way, shape, or form like Jorginho. You know what I mean? He's more like Rice than he's like Jorginho.
But what I'm saying to you is, with Gilmour has the attributes of a Jorginho. He has attributes of a Modric. He's got a final ball in him, a very good final ball. He's got a lot of pace across the pitch. He's got speed. He's an intelligent footballer. Like, when I mean intelligent,
we've lost Daniel, guys.
He's a quick player, quick thinker, and if you look at Jorginho when he plays, he points and dictates right where players need to be. I've been watching Gilmour these last 5 games, the 2 at Scotland and the 3 at Norwich, and he's doing that. He's very vocal on the pitch. He knows how the game should be played, and he's playing in different systems, and he's adapting to those systems. So for me, Gilmour is extremely versatile. He can play on his own. He can play in the double six. He can play a bit more further forward if you want him, and he can also sit. Now, that's not applying. That's not like Jorginho. Jorginho is a bit more specific than that for me. So we're blessed to have someone like Billy Esther who has got all those attributes, and he's only 20 years old. I mean, he's got a whole career ahead of himself. So I look at him as an exceptional talent. I'm excited every time he's on the team sheet, especially when he was at Chelsea. I was always excited to watch him play. He's a lovely player to watch, but also very, very effective. And when you watch a player like Modric and Verratti, they're saucy ballers. Gilmour for me is going to be exactly like that. Exactly like that. That's the way I see him.
Right, guys. I can't lie. I feel like everyone wants us to change the subject. So big up Dinishan with the super chat saying Bayern send a bid. Will Timo choose Bayern or CFC? I feel like that's very speculative because it all depends on how this season goes with Chelsea. But if he wanted to go back to Germany, he probably could have forced a move this season if he really wanted to. And I feel like Chelsea would have still been able to recoup around a decent amount of value for him in the first place.
Can't sell him, man. Can't sell him.
Yeah, I don't want to sell him right now either. I think people just look too much on his shoddy finishing, and maybe
he might be as part of maybe the Haaland deal or something like that in the future, or a player that they're looking for. They might, if Werner doesn't really, perform for us this season, I think that Chelsea might cut their losses with him. Not financially, I mean, with him in the squad. And use him as a negotiation tool, which I don't want to happen. Obviously, he's our player, and I really want Timo to bang, and I think he will. But in the event that he doesn't, that could be an option going, in the window in the market.
I think it all depends on how this season goes for him. There's been rumours of a Timo and Sane swap deal, but I just don't think there's any truth.
Sane is an injury prone. I will not take him. Stop this hyping Sane is a baller. It's
a shame because before the injuries, this guy was one of the deadliest wingers I'd seen in the league.
Well, he's actually not that injury prone.
He scared the shit out of me with how easily he could breeze past our defenders. It was light work for him. But I think right now he's in the phase where he's just learning to trust his body again. So I don't want to look at his form and just say, he's washed. I don't think he's washed. I think he just comes back a lot slower than people give him credit for.
He's flop at the moment.
Lewis, what I don't get?
That's like saying Callum is injury prone. I don't think Sane is injury prone. He just had like a really long injury. That's it.
You have to recover mentally from those sorts of injuries as well. As and people always
it takes a while, basically.
What your body wants to do, what your mind's telling you to do, and what your body does can sometimes be slightly delayed or reluctant. You know what I mean? I think with that type of injury for Cho, there is no question the guy is a baller. Like he's got unreal talent, and I just feel that it's unfortunate that he's been playing out of his actual orthodox position. All right, firstly, but when you compare Odoi from when he first burst on the scene and how fearless he was to how he is now, I don't see him as being that fearless anymore. And that I want to see that fearlessness come back, because it doesn't matter if you lose the ball. It doesn't matter if you don't cut the mustard all the time. But have a go, keep attacking him, because when you keep attacking and you get that confidence back and you go for it, he's deadly up front. Like every defender can't hack him. They can't hack him.
What I was going to bring up, what I was going to bring up is, I don't get why we're linked to Sane. Why we're linked to more wingers. And
it's weird,
I think Johnny dropped out. Why we're linked to more wingers when you already see Cho, Ziyech, Pulisic. Pulisic probably closest one that can play inside forward. But all these players are playing outside their position. And as soon as Tuchel changes system, these guys have to adapt. And honestly, I can see him probably the first ones going before Werner in that conversation. Just because if they don't, Tuchel's trying to make him into wing backs, right? Or a second forward, right? The way Werner played. But at the end of the day, they have to adapt or they might want to leave. But at the end of the day, they're not going to play their prime position to get the best out of them. So I don't know why we're linked to Sane as well, because it doesn't make sense. It just adds to that problem that we have.
I don't believe in all that. I don't believe in the Sane links. I think
no, of course not.
I think it's come from Germany, and Werner's away with the Germany side now. You know, it's all a bit too obvious.
Over dramatic, I would say, Johnny.
Well, they're trying to test the waters without directly testing the waters. You know what I'm saying? Through the media, and I just feel like I think Bayern, if they are interested in Werner, they can see Werner's not quite 100% settled. He's not hit the ground running. Therefore, they might be able to get him on the cheap. Well, nah, it don't work like that. Bayern, go and stay in your dead league where every other club in your league feeds you and you're the monopoly. No, we're not like that. We're Chelsea Football Club, champions of Europe. We don't need your pennies. Do you know what I'm saying? We're good with Werner. Werner will come good. I honestly think, once he starts playing with Lukaku, it's going to cause a lot of problems for Tuchel in his team selections up front.
Yes,
that's gonna mean that you can't drop Mounts. That means you're leaving Havertz, Pulisic, and Ziyech all out of and Cho out the side. Right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of quality to leave out the side. Now Pulisic, if he's injured quite a lot, then he's not in the discussion. Cho is in the last of the pecking order. Then it's Ziyech, and then obviously you got Mount and Havertz, right?
Yeah.
They're the first two that are going to compete for that one space if Werner plays. If Werner doesn't play, then I think Tuchel looks at Lukaku, Mount, and Havertz as his sort of like ideal front three, because Mason Mount can drop in, Havertz can drop in, dig in when necessary and recover the ball, but also have the attacking nous to penetrate and feed Lukaku.
But Johnny, wouldn't it be Werner that's fighting for that spot, not out of Havertz and Mount?
Well, no, if Werner does play, I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying if he does get picked?
Yeah, if he does get picked, then you've only got one other position for Mount or Havertz, because I don't see a Ziyech, Pulisic, or Doi getting over one of them two right now.
No, you have to have one of them, because the way we play, one of them drops deep into the middle to make the middle free. So Ziyech and all those wingers don't do it, and so either Havertz or Mount has to do one of those roles.
So that's what I'm saying. But you've got to choose whether it's Mount or Havertz to play with Werner and Lukaku, or if Werner doesn't play, you're going to play Mount and Havertz predominantly with Lukaku. And if Lukaku doesn't play, you're probably going to play Havertz false nine with a Werner and a Mount. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like we might actually see a surprise back four very soon. Like, we have no. I get that, but like I feel like it's possible because we have some really easy fixtures coming up, and we have a lot of attackers.
Why would we go to the back four?
Van Gaal and
Why not?
Barcelona coach.
Because I'll tell you why not.
Van Gaal and the Barcelona coach
system
at the back for Chelsea. I don't think
I'll answer Donald's question.
Yeah, what were you saying?
It's because the way Tuchel's running the back three now and the whole system altogether, teams haven't adapted yet. It's like the new this formation has become the new 4-4-3. Until it gets found out, we're going to keep running with it. So we might switch to a back four, but not for the easy game reason. For when we're found out.
Like the easy games, play like a 3-1-3-2 system, like a one.
Yeah. You play the same system, right? And he will just pick on different positions to be more attacking, right? So let's say I'll give you an example. Let's say he plays Saul, who can go. He's a bit more deadly outside the 18, right? Saul goes a bit more forward. The wingbacks both push on. Sometimes when you want to do defensive, one wingback would stay back, one would go high. Now you have more. It's just in the same mold of the system. It's the same reason why Cho played wingback sometimes, right? Because it turned into a winger spot. He didn't have to go back and defend as much. So when it comes to those easy games, we're just going to play the same way, but commit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than changing up the whole formation and system, because it's teams that are adapting to us, and all we have to do is tweak, right, to become more attacking. And we're already playing an attacking formation, which everyone thought this was a more defensive formation. That's how what Tim brought up that Van Gaal.
More defensive, depending on the way we set up and approach the game.
Yeah, like back in the day, in the 90s, like when the Barca was dominating La Liga, he was playing a 3-4-3 system usually, or sometimes a 4-3-3.
Yeah, so Conte is the one that made this famous, but Conte's system is a bit more defensive and a bit more direct. It's Tuchel that's shown that it could be more possession based and more attacking as well.
Nah, I'm talking about Johan Cruyff used the 3-4-3 system back in the night of Barcelona.
Yeah, and Jurgen Cruyff and Pep got a lot of inspiration off that, and he brought it back. The Jurgen Cruyff way, the very high possession 4-3-3.
Well, personally, I just feel like Tuchel might want to like utilize more of his attacking players sooner or later, because even preseason he did use the back four at times, so it tells you it's in his head at least, right?
Like the problem is that Ziyech and Odoi are natural wingers, so Ziyech can't play as a wing back because she's not that, doesn't have the like physical capabilities to play it. Odoi can because he's fast. And the reason why, and the 2 10s they have to be more inside, like the more congested area. I don't think Ziyech suits that system properly.
We can play. We've got enough players, but in the preseason he lacked players. That's why he did it at times. But he still tried to play the same way as possible. For him to just flip the script is will be kind of weird. I'm not going to rule it out, though. He can do it in a momentary game to really surprise the team.
Yeah.
But I don't see him just doing it. You know, there has to be a really good reason. Like if we go on a bad streak of games because people have found a good way to play against us, then he might have to change it. But not when it's working well, because teams haven't figured us out yet. So we're going to ride it as long as we can.
Because if everyone is firing, let's say Timo now comes in and he's like firing. Havertz is firing, Mount is firing, Lukaku is firing. He might just want to do it just for like the sake of it. Like, let's just see how all of them play up together.
Exactly.
How many more players? You named 3 there. You can have 3.
What?
He can still do what you're saying in the same system. You get what I'm saying? So for example, let's say we're losing a game, right? That he wants to throw some of the attacking players that you mentioned extra. Well, he can take one of the 6s out and have that more forward. He can take a wing back out and put a winger, right? And he can have those attacking players in the same way. But people haven't figured this out. But to change everything, he can have one of the 6. If you know when we lost Reece James and that.
I remember Aston Villa. The prime example is Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Second half, he was losing 2-1, and he brought more attackers in.
Yeah. So it becomes, maybe this is the best way to sum it up. The system's principles, he doesn't want to lose that. So it's same system, same principles, and it's just about tweaking so you can get the attacking players on. But yeah, for him to switch it like that, yeah.
Different personnel, but the same system.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we're still talking about which club Werner's going to go to, or?
I'm not no way Werner leaves next summer. No way.
How many punters do you have? In the booking?
But to be honest, I'm not Werner's biggest fan, but I got a feeling Werner's going to score a lot of goals this season, man. I got that feeling.
Yeah.
I have that feeling, you know.
I back Timo Werner a lot, but I want to know where you're getting that feeling so I can have it too.
No, that link up with Lukaku is really...
I support Werner. I'm not trying to slander him. It's just I don't see that.
Lewis, do you know what convinces me? Last season, when they changed the rules on that VAR now, if those ones did count from last season, he would have been our top goal scorer. He would have been double digit. I think 11 or 12 goals. I think it would have been if those really close VAR calls actually went in. Ones that he actually did score. So he has it in him to score. I think he's just been really unlucky. And so...
No, I do think with the change in offside rules, he'll get a few more goals this season.
Yeah.
It's just, how many will he miss? Because we know what it's the sort of player that he is. He's a high-volume striker, so he will miss a lot of chances.
I feel
I'll
like
always
we just have
pick
to...
it regardless. In terms of his overall game, I think he will have a good season because he is a quality player regardless of whether his finishing is good or not. But in terms of if you're focusing just on his finishing,
Nah, I still expect him to miss hella
Like-
chances.
like-
It's just
Yeah,
the
I feel
players.
like we have to accept that he will miss chances.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
Salah misses chances.
just who he
Sterling
is.
misses chances.
Yeah, he might miss a lot and score a lot at the same time. I think that what we're hoping for is that he becomes the Martinez of Lukaku partnership and gets a lot of chances, a lot of easy chances, I guess. If Lukaku makes it and the team makes it for him.
Look forward to the partnership so much because they're meant to get the
Yeah.
best out of both of them. But I
Yeah.
just can't shake the fact that he had so many easy chances last season. I don't know what changes with Romelu Lukaku there. He had space last season. He had a lot of big chances last season, and he still had a lot of big misses. Like, I don't know if Romelu Lukaku himself changes composure or just changes accuracy, because that's all on him.
Well, for me, Lewis, was that he was always picked up as the deadliest striker, as the most, because we're playing with a kind of a false nine, and he was our only kind of striker. And I
Yeah.
think Lukaku takes away from that too. But at the same time, his second season as well, maybe he's a bit more comfortable. Maybe the pressure's less off him. Maybe he's going to be the one that's assisting more. Maybe there's a few factors that he's a bit more comfortable and starts to score
I
some.
hear what you're saying about pressure, but if anything, I think there's more pressure on him after last season because the pressure's on him to show that he's improved.
I got a dip, lads. I got a dip, Lewis. Big up, yeah.
Yeah, big up, bro.
Big up, Minerals.
Yeah,
Thank
pleasure,
you.
man. Glad to have you back, my G.
Yeah, glad to be back, man. Glad to hear from you as well, man. Been too long.
Defo. Big up,
Bless,
lads. Up
man.
the
You take
minerals.
care.
See you later.
Bless, brother.
But yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing with Werner. I do think the pressure is still on him. It's just he's not looked at as our focal point anymore. But whenever he's on the pitch, the first thing people are going to look at is what is he going to do when he has a chance? Is he going to put it in the back of the net? Yes or no?
Like he needs
Yeah,
to
100%.
calm down,
Till he gets probably that first goal. Then
Not
maybe
even
they'll
that.
take
It's
it all
just
off.
until he starts being more clinical in itself. Like if he
Yeah.
has 5 chances, he gets 3 goals with it, or something like that. If he starts regularly putting away chances, that's why I think the pressure starts to come off him a little bit more because we just haven't seen it.
And he's not even getting a game at the moment too, so it's probably more pressure. I'm with
I
you,
know,
but
but
it all
like,
comes
that
down to
Palace
hope. Yeah.
game didn't justify him playing any more games, in my opinion. And the Spurs game in the what was it? The Mind Series in the Mind Series Cup before the season started. There was so many missed chances in both of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not trying to slander Timo Werner. I
it's-
do think he's a quality player. It's just I don't know if his finishing improves. I really don't.
Even my points still hang with hope. So we're not slandering, and I'm not like full 100% confident as well. It's just hoping these factors could change it. And I'm with you because when he misses those chances, we all hold our head. I don't feel comfortable when something drops to him, but I'm hoping he gets a few. I'm not expecting a lot from him, to be honest.
I think he still will miss chances, but I feel like that will reduce a lot because Timo under Lampard at the beginning was actually really clinical, if you guys can remember. He had like 6 straight games.
I wouldn't
Only
say
at the start.
clinical. I'd say he played with a lot more confidence at the start of the season. Like Timo
Yeah.
Werner against Brighton, against Liverpool, even though we lost the game. Like some of the performance he was showing, he was our best attacker by a mile. But it's, as the more he played in left wing, there's just confidence continued to deteriorate. And then you saw more missed chances and more missed chances. The media were on him, rival fans were on him, and it was clearly getting to his head too. Reggie Forts is saying he's not good enough. Let's stop this delusion. He also says technical baller like Sane is available. Bin him. I would like Leroy Sane at Chelsea. I can't.
Yeah, I'd
lie.
love
I do think
Sane
As
at
soon as he
I'd
shakes
rather
off the
Lewis,
mental
man.
lapse
But
he's been
where
through.
would we play him? He's another winger. He's another in the category of Ziyech, Pulisic.
I know,
and,
but like
and
it's
Cho.
not like we play what's his name Werner up front anymore. Anyway, we only do that against a high line.
I reckon, yeah, all these link
But he's
winger,
more inside forward.
yeah, all these winger,
Yeah, like hybrid, innit? Yeah.
I reckon all these winger links, yeah, I think either Ziyech or Pulisic is leaving next season.
I'm telling you that I see them all leaving.
I see a lot of them
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah, I see both of them leaving. I see Pulisic leaving. If he
But
doesn't,
I can probably say Pulisic is the only one that I can see stay just because no one wants him.
No.
Because the guy's Mr. Glass, and if he has a
Pulisic-
massive injury record, who's going to want him? And we got him on big wages as well.
No, someone will want Pulisic. Someone will want him.
They will, but not for the valuation that we want for him.
Yeah,
And that's why I think the
exactly
biggest thing will
what
be.
Lewis said.
Yeah.
We weren't selling for cheap. We're not
If
going to
we
make a
sell-
loss on him.
If we sell Pulisic and CH, yeah, I'd rather get Chiesa than Sané, man. Chiesa's more
Right.
direct.
It's not even about like us selling him. I think these players are actually going to push for a move.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
because we
have too many attackers and not enough positions. There'll be one or two players that are pissed off with their game time. But for me,
That's
I don't
right,
think it'd be either of them. I think it might be Cho. Because we just blocked his move to Dortmund, which could have helped him develop so well. And
Yeah.
he's not going to get the right amount of game time to develop here. That's just a fact.
Lewis, I don't get it, yeah. They don't play him, but they don't loan him out. What's the point of having him in the squad, though?
You know what it really
kind of
depends
makes
on, though,
sense
guys.
Because look, Pulisic's now injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have
he's
a cover
here
for him.
because Pulisic is likely to get 2 or 3 injuries a season.
100%.
And that's what the problem is.
He's like second choice right wing back, and he's 7th choice winger right now.
Yeah.
I feel for him, man.
Yeah.
It's shit. It's such a shit position for him.
But
if he
I do
went to
blame-
Dortmund, he would have been a key player in their squad. He would have got better. He would have been comfortable in an open league, and he would have come back basically like a new signing.
Yeah,
But
I do
now
blame,
it's all speculation.
I do blame his
That can still happen in January.
I think
Right,
January, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, I was
I
going to say
hope,
that.
but I think it's more hope.
If the situation clearly doesn't change, then I do generally think he would push for a move, and the club would be much more open to it. The fact of the matter is, when you consider a lot of these players, in terms of them pushing on for a move, it really depends on their options. Because if the options presented to them aren't attractive in terms of what sort of football is offered to them, and I'm not talking about in terms of playtime, but rather obviously what type of team it is. Are they playing the Champions League? Are they playing the Europa League? What's the situation in terms of like in their own leagues? What if that all of these things will be like factors as to when these players will want to move.
Yeah.
But I do generally feel like the squad is not as cemented as people think. And I know obviously people are saying, 7th choice and all of that stuff. It really comes down to who takes their chance. Generally speaking, if you take your chance and you do your job fantastically well, trust me, you can win your place. But the fact of the matter is, there are plenty of games for us this season, and we just need to make sure that what happens is that these players bang. And as far as I'm concerned, bro, I don't care as long as the team's winning which one of these players bangs, because at the end of the day, the ones that bang are the ones that actually deserve to stay at the club. That's what it really comes down to.
But Mo as well, the World Cup as well. People want to make it into national teams. They want to push as well.
But I do think, Odoi needs to take the blame, though. Like, he chose money over playing time, though, still.
How did he choose money?
No, I don't think that was on him. That was Chelsea just trying to make sure that we keep him because we saw a lot in him.
Zach, do you think
I'll be real.
Nah, man. Listen, nah, I don't believe that. Listen,
like
these players, they will earn a lot of money in the future. Innit? Like, they will earn a lot of money. He should have chose playing time. Like, he should have chose like 60K a week, playing for Bayern Munich, week in, week out, then playing for.
You think Bayern were offering him only
Bayern will
60K?
start him, bro. Bayern will start this guy, bro. Trust me. 100%.
No. But you think they were only offering him 60K?
Yeah, I think
60,
so.
70K, yes.
Because he was potential at that point.
No, Bayern.
So you
Bayern
don't
isn't
think
the
they
right
just
club.
said, "Oh, we're gonna double your wages because they're offering you 60K," just like that?
No.
We saw him as potential too, but you also have to take into account we didn't account for that big Achilles injury against Burnley.
Yeah, true.
No, but what I'm saying.
But wasn't Bayern
is
offering
adding
50
up.
mil?
They're offering 80.
Yeah.
80.
No, Chelsea
and you
wanted
guys are
80,
saying they were
didn't they?
offering 60K a week to the kid. Like, to me, that doesn't add up.
No,
Like, why
listen.
would we offer him 120 then?
Bayern won't pay him 120 a week because a lot of Bayern stars.
I'm not saying they were paying 120, but you're saying half of that, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, who
low.
will he bench in Bayern though? What are we saying?
It's before they got Sané and Coleman as well.
Exactly. Like he's not benching anyone in Bayern.
No. Bayern wouldn't have bought those players if they got Cho.
Wait,
Oh,
so
okay,
you're
okay.
saying they wouldn't have bought Leroy Sané?
And Coleman. If Coleman wasn't injured, they wouldn't have got Sane. They needed that type of player.
No, but Coleman,
they went for
Coleman is always injured though. That's they've kept up. It's like a Pulisic situation for them with Coleman.
Yeah, Mo. I'm saying when they offered that 50 mil was when they were looking for that type of player. They couldn't get Cho, so they went and got Coleman. But Coleman's been so injured, so now they got Sane.
Actually, Sane was second choice. Havertz was the first choice though. They wanted Havertz before Sane.
Yeah, but
they were linked with him. I don't think they like, because the thing is, guys, people have to remember when Bayern wants someone, they make the bets. They don't really like just kind of lurk around and just wait. Like they actually make bets.
Yeah, the whole league is their youth academy.
I also feel like they kind of want them to force their way out too, or to at least make it known that they want to leave, because then it makes the job easier for them.
Yeah,
man,
100%.
Like, I'm not lying to you, man. We let Musiala go to Bayern, man. That guy is going to be a superstar, man.
See, this is the thing. We didn't let you guys.
Too.
We didn't have.
We
leverage.
have too many good players, and
we
only
don't
11
have
places in the squad.
But Lewis, that kid is special, man. I'm not lying, bro. That kid,
bro. There's so many special academy players that just don't make it.
Yeah,
like, our academy is that good. Like I think
what makes you think we just let him though?
Yeah, I think every team in the Premier League has a player from the Chelsea academy.
To be honest, I think he went on his own terms.
Yeah, like we didn't have the leverage. When you don't have the leverage, unfortunately, the players are the ones that have the career in their hands and they get to choose what they want. The club then has to make the best of the situation. If a player says, I'm not signing your damn contract, then the club has to act accordingly to try and get whatever they can from the situation.
But you know what I'm afraid of, yeah? Because right now we're producing top quality Premier League players in it, and if we like sell all these academy products, yeah, like two of them, yeah, will be like one.
Has he cut out, guys?
Yeah, I think he cut out still.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think what he's trying to say is, I just hope that we don't end up selling another Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, man, true. Like Tino, like Livramento. I knew this kid was special, but like he knew, yeah, that he doesn't have a place if Reece James is there. So
Zach, you gotta ask these questions, man. The questions you gotta ask is how's this player make our team better? Because the idea that you put in your head is that we collect all these youth players in our team and just collect them all and hope they just become good players. Kevin De Bruyne, if he stayed under Mourinho, right? Because Mourinho wanted him to fight, but he wasn't going to play much. If he didn't go, he wouldn't be the player he is today. That goes for a whole bunch of Salah as well. Salah got heaps of chances. To be honest, even Salah got heaps of chances.
Yeah,
he just kept missing. Everyone said he was like Messi at training. He had a problem with finishing, right? Yeah. And he went to Fiorentina and Roma to get that, right? We weren't going to give him that type of patience and experience in our team. So
we clearly are not, because you can look at already what we're doing to players that have already proved themselves, and we're not even trusting those players. So how are we going to trust youth players to come up and do the thing? Like we're saying to players that have proven themselves, nah, you ain't good enough. You need to be sold. This needs to happen 6 months into the flipping job at Chelsea. Like, come on, man. We have to be realistic sometimes. I think we are sometimes way too idealistic in terms of how we want things to work out. But what we're not realizing is there are certain circumstances and expectations that really get in the ways of the players. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, we are taking our anger or our frustration out on players when the reality of it is the situation is quite complex, man. Like, I mean,
it's not even complex. You know what? You know, Mo, what everyone's missing? You know what everyone's missing? That Chelsea are making these players. It's a turntable. There's heaps of them. We're just making them, and people don't appreciate that we are making these players. Players are coming through, even if they don't make it to Chelsea, right? They're making it into EPL squads, right? And do you know what kind of, like, Southampton was considered one of the best academies now, and we're surpassing them because we are making talent after talent. Even though they don't make the Chelsea team, right? Yeah. They still bring heaps of money, and potentially, right, they can make it to our squad, right? So out of all this great talent, right, one's going to pop out to be extraordinary, right, and really stay at Chelsea and become one of those maybe legends that we talk about that stays at the club forever. But people don't appreciate the creation of the talent. People just want to people think it's like the last person to come through. Nothing's going to happen. But we look at how many we had. So people just got to look at it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I agree. I think that even when you consider certain situations, like right now, as things stand, we have a great manager. We have a good squad that is only continuing to grow. Like people forget, like when you have a young squad, inconsistencies are bound to happen. Luckily, we have a manager that now realizes exactly what to do in managing that. And I think we've made some of the right signings to actually complement our squad even further because we needed experience. When you looked at our squad, to me, it was lacking experience. It was lacking, what's it called? It was lacking physicality for me. And signing Saul and signing Lukaku for me really addressed the problems that we had at hand. But we also lacked the obvious problem, which was goal scoring, which I think will still continue to be a problem until we find some sort of chemistry between the front three. And hopefully that's going to happen when we start to cement who plays in that front three.
I think, Mo, we already found that. With the system actually got better with Havertz and Mount and Lukaku. It's just because of how it all is because if you guys I'm not going to say you didn't know, but you know that when we play that front three, right? One of them has to come, and it was always Mount, right? Before, always has to come deep and make the middle free, right? And that's what always happened. That's why Mount played all the time, right?
Exactly.
And and now we have Havertz and Mount, and now tactically, right? Mount doesn't have to always go. Now Havertz can go. So if a team is trying to isolate Mount when he drops deep, or vice versa, we have Havertz that can drop deep, and they can't keep on top of that now, and that makes it more tactically better in the system.
Yes.
The system runs even better now, because if we play Werner, then Havertz or Mount has to play for me, right? Or that's how Tuchel wants to, and one of them is going to drop deep. But the teams know which guy is going to do it, right, all the time. And Havertz brings that balance of left and right, and they can't really isolate that now, so it gives us the edge. That's why I think that front three with Lukaku is our best formation, and it fits best for the system.
I agree for the most part, and the only thing for me where I have not doubt, but rather I want to see more, it's just our clinicalness, man. Like against Liverpool, we clearly should have scored more goals, but we didn't because we were making the wrong decisions when it came to that final third, and that's something that I'm talking about. I think in terms of complement, you're right from a tactical point of view, but also from a personal point of view. These three look like they can complement each other very, very well. But it's also nice that we have people on the bench that can come and bring a different dynamic, or also add more to that, more to what we want. What my biggest issue is at the end of the day is that when we keep switching, or when we have these players that we currently have, the issue I find is, like, for example, against Liverpool, I believe there was 2 or 3 chances, if I remember correctly, where there was an extra pass that could have been made for someone else to score, and we just don't. And unfortunately, it's a common theme I'm seeing far too often, and I'm hoping our players recognize the team comes first, their glory doesn't. Because at the end of the day, when the team wins, you'll get rated regardless because you're seeing the right passes. You'll still get at least an assist, if anything. You get what I mean? You don't have to be the goal scorer.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, that Liverpool game was a hard game to judge, and we're talking about moments. At the end of the day, the whoever plays in the system, it comes all right till the end, to that last decision, right? So as long as they were in that position to be that far away from one decision away, one pass away, then they're actually playing well.
It will get better. Yeah. Exactly.
Like the next game, Mo, that could change completely, and we score 5. Because
I'm hoping so.
The right decision, you know what I mean?
I am hoping so, man. And
I
have the
because
hope that it will
you
happen.
described.
I just want to see.
You described like 3 moments, in the first half, because we didn't have a second half really. In the first half, it was just little moments, and I agree with you 100%. And I think that like in game to game that could change, because I think there's going to be more of those moments. But and like you said as well, Lukaku's new, Havertz and Mount. And all that 3 is new as well. So the longer it goes, the better it becomes.
I have to say, like, having Lukaku is such a godsend, man. Like just having a player that can physically just hold onto these centre backs and push them back into their
Yeah.
freaking box, and you can pass
We
directly
missed
to
that.
him. Oh
Missed
my
that
God,
presence
bro!
since
I wanted to
Costa.
cry. The
Did you
Arsenal
see
game,
that?
yeah, when he did that, I was like, dear Lord, I have missed
I've
having a player
never
like
seen
this.
a defender get bullied by a forward the way
He's even
Pablo Mari
creating
did by
chances.
Lukaku.
Yo, he's even creating chances for Kovacic. Did you see the chance against Liverpool when Kovacic was like one-on-one with Alisson?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But
that was great.
Tactically, what it changed for us was when we used to have Havertz Mount, and then one of them used to drop deep. Is that we used to go because Havertz couldn't hold the ball like Lukaku does now. Sometimes we did. Sometimes we lost the ball. That's why people didn't. That's why people got on his back. But that's not Havertz's best game. So we used to look to go over the defender's head, and that's where Werner used to play on the line. That's why Werner was key. But now we don't have to play that way. We can play straight to Lukaku's feet, and we're safe with that. So that's where it tactically tweaked it. But yeah, and like you said, yeah, that is a great feeling to see that ball's going to come and be and held, because it was lost a lot of the time.
Yeah,
last season.
I mean, Reece James, Ziyech, like there's a lot of players that are going to benefit just from having a Lukaku in there.
Yeah.
And,
What do you
and
guys?
I'm hoping. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. What do you guys think about? I'm actually kind of like switching the topic. I was gonna talk about Chilwell right now.
I'll go for it, bro. That's actually a good conversation.
Yeah, because like Alonso's like really good at the moment. He even had a good game against Liverpool. I thought he wouldn't, but he did. So, what do you guys think about Chilwell?
I'll go first in saying respectfully, I can't wait for Chilwell to come back.
Oh, Chilwell.
Yeah,
and
Alonso's been good, but like I'm just waiting.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
waiting for the inevitable disaster class with him. I can't lie, because it's coming. It's coming. He's on good form.
Yeah, he's on good form, but I think Chilwell is a still better player.
Yeah,
trust me, man. You know how the saying goes: "Form is temporary, shite is permanent." I think I spoiled it, but that's it. And you know what to expect, innit?
Bro, I'm gonna clap him. I'm gonna give him his juice when he performs. But generally speaking, bro, he is a very frustrating footballer to watch, man. I don't know how else to put it.
You know, it's the big teams that really worries me. When we verse other teams, they sit back, and then Alonso's up there like a winger, sometimes like a striker. It's great to see him up there. But when it comes to defending and that, no, that's where you get worried.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys in that regard, man. I do feel like Chilwell. I feel very bad for him, man, because it's been a flipping long ass time since I've seen this guy on the pitch, bro. Like it's just been bad. Like the fact.
I think it's his fault, Mo.
Mm.
Because he didn't play much for England, and he took a long holiday.
Yeah,
and he
come back early.
He didn't have much of a preseason.
Yeah,
so
I don't
that's
blame
the reason
him, though.
Alonso played.
I don't blame him because like he didn't actually also like have a holiday because like he was with the camp obviously, and he's gonna want a holiday, right?
Yeah.
So I don't actually blame him completely.
It's just sometimes.
Yeah.
It's sometimes what when a player wants something bad, you can tell by their actions. Like I remember, and was it Loftus-Cheek and on the Sarri season, was it, where he came back a week early or something like that? And like we can probably name other sort of moments where players just did stuff like that when they realize they have a point to prove or there's a chance or an opportunity that they can smell. You just see their actions being like that. And I'm not here trying to criticize Chilwell and say like he's not a professional, he doesn't want this bad enough, because I think the opportunity will come, and hopefully this time out of the team has made him at least more familiar with things, and he'll come back the better player for it. But at the end of the day, we can only judge as fans what he does on the pitch.
Yeah, and the way I was looking at it is that maybe he became complacent a little, that he didn't think he was going to lose his spot, and Alonso seized the moment and turned it on, and that's it. You're on the bench.
Yeah,
because that's the difference. But yeah, like you said, he did deserve a holiday, but I guess you're going to come out and not have a preseason. So yeah, Alonso's going to keep playing.
Yeah, I agree.
It was great.
There we go. Right, I can't lie, guys. I'm going to wrap up the end of the stream now because I do need a little bit of a nap before I go on another one. Big up everyone that's been locked in. It is great to be back on here. It's been a nice, chill few days away, but we're back here. The grind's going to start again. We've got a lot of big fixtures coming up as well, so I'm excited and I can't wait for all the streams as well. We'll be back tomorrow for either a Chelsea Villa preview or we're going to do Shameless. If we don't do Shameless tomorrow, we're going to do it on Sunday after all the Premier League fixtures go through. Sunday 10 p.m. might be the permanent new time slot for Shameless FC, so keep an eye out for that. But until tomorrow, big up all you guys that are locked in. Smash the like and subscribe button. We are out, people. Peace and up the fucking Chelsea. Champions of Europe, world champions, all of that.